Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Deckin Around. My name's Tyler.
Hi, I'm Steve.
And today we are really excited to have one of the most famous mentalists on stage today, Spidey, on the show. But before we jump into that, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And we want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors for this week's episode. The Latin Quarter playing cards, live on Kickstarter now. If you haven't checked out the Latin Quarter gaming chip set on Kickstarter, you definitely need to go take a look if you're an avid poker enthusiast or really just love that kind of underground casino nostalgia vibe. This is the deck and chip set for you. Make sure to check it out live on Kickstarter now, the Latin Quarter chip set. And our second sponsor, Marvelous Decks. You might have experienced capturing fireflies in a mason jar on a warm summer night as a kid. Seeing that glow up close was like holding the power of lightning in your own hands. Perhaps you remember your first encounter with the shimmer of fool's gold, thinking you'd found an ancient lost treasure, or when you heard the flutter of wings from a bird or butterfly, and your eyes were paralyzed in awe with iridescent fascination. This is Marvelous Decks. Join us as we celebrate the marvelous and amazing things that surround us. Sign up to get notified at marvelousdecks.com. And there's an announcement for Marvelous Decks coming out September 5th. So keep an eye out. Make sure to go sign up on the site and check it out.
Heck, so Steve, yeah, I'm so excited about that, dude.
Yeah, no, that's going to be an amazing deck, no matter what it looks like. The hype around that's definitely getting there, so that should be fun. How's everyone doing tonight? Steve, you doing good?
Everything's going well, man. It's not too hot here in California. It's been really hot, but luckily it's pretty chill. Obviously we have the fires that are going on that aren't very exciting and unfortunately are damaging a lot of things. But hopefully, they get taken care of pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's definitely been a crazy couple days around here, but we're hoping that everyone in the audience tonight can take a little time, unwind, enjoy a good episode of Deckin Around with us, and just kind of sit back and have fun. We're really excited about Spidey being on the show. I think this is going to be probably one of the most exciting episodes we've had in a while. So I know you're pumped on it, Steve.
I am. I've been waiting for this for a while.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, too, because, we had ECAT on, geez, it feels like forever ago now. I think it's been at least maybe 3 months since ECAT was on. And ever since then, she had talked about how she had, worked with Spidey in the past and everything. And we were really looking forward to having him on and getting him on the show. And things just worked out. So we are really pumped to have Spidey on the show this week.
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't believe it's been that long since we've had ECAT.
I know. Time's really flying. I mean, and I think one of the cool things about it, too, is that there's just been a lot of amazing guests on the show, but we really keep finding fun new guests to come on and sit down and talk to you guys with. So,
yeah. Heck yeah. Let me see.
Steve, you just lagged.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You just lagged out a little bit hard there.
I think it's because I'm trying to upload something at the same time, which is silly.
It is silly, but also we're trying to upload something to show you guys, so we apologize for the long intro here.
I don't think we're gonna make it happen. It's a little too big. I can't get it down lower than that.
All right. Well, in that case.
Yeah.
All right. In that
unfortunately, we waited till the last minute.
No surprise there. But without further ado, guys, we want to welcome Spidey onto the show.
Spidey! Whoa.
Oh, man.
Bird from the plant. This was misdirection. You guys thought I was going to enter from that side, but that's the cool side, but I came from
totally did.
That is too good. Well, I feel like, you know what? Plants are kind of a natural habitat for spiders, so we should have seen it coming, right? Oh, man. How you doing today?
We tried to get the video to run. We failed epically.
You want me to reenact it for you?
That would be amazing. Let's see it.
Okay, so it starts with E-Talk, which is the biggest Canadian talk show, and there's two hosts on the right, and they go, his name is Spidey, and he can manipulate objects with his mind. And while they're saying that, there's me in the background being super dope badass. And then it cuts to Steve Harvey on the stage at the Apollo going, make some noise for Spidey, and then the badass music starts, to make me look way more cool than I actually am. And then it cuts to shit. It cuts to
the shit. Why does it cut?
No, it doesn't cut to shit. No, it cuts to I don't know, you would think I've seen this like 1,000 times. Make some noise for Spidey, and then you see me walking out at the Apollo, looking all super nervous and going on stage. Oh, and then you see a little bit of the Apollo performance with the chair falling, and then it cuts to some Massive Illusion stuff, TMZ, Rachel Ray, and her chair's like, oh my God. And then it cuts to like entertainment tonight, where the host's like, oh my God, I don't want to be here anymore. And she runs away. And then a little TMZ clip, and at the end it's Penn and Teller, and I'm super excited, and then all my TV creds show up, and that's basically what you missed.
Which, dude, right there, though,
I mean, like fun.
Yeah, I mean, and it's amazing you were able to recount all that. It sounds like you've met some amazing people. So
It's been a crazy ride, you know.
But hold on, all that sounds crazy. But the one thing that sounds the craziest to me is that you played at the Apollo.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, and
That's huge. That's huge.
You're an East Coast guy, right? So you know the East Coast. I mean, I feel like, you know, there's a certain number of people in the entertainment industry, I think, that understand the fear of performing at the Apollo and the mood of having that opportunity. You know, I grew up, my inspiration for magic wasn't magicians. My inspiration for magic was from every other world. So for me, Michael Jackson, ever since I was very little, was so magical, probably more magical than any magician, because he had a way to capture his audience. And the earliest videos I saw of him were at that Apollo Theater. And when I first went to the Apollo Theater for rehearsals, I saw outside on the Walk of Fame his name on a golden plaque, and I was like, I can't believe I'm about to set foot on the stage that has made so many careers. You know, like Christina Aguilera, Michael Jackson, Prince. So many artists started there, and it's a crazy place. Like the episode I was on. So I was on a special season that they did as an anniversary, and Steve Harvey was hosting, because his career, Steve Harvey's career, started at the Apollo. If you guys don't know that story, you have to go look it up on YouTube.
I'll have to check that out. That's awesome.
Dude, everybody, like Richard Pryor, like everybody played there.
Yeah, but Steve Harvey has such a great story because he was penniless. He was penniless and he was homeless. He was living in his car, and he had a gig that put like $40 in his pocket, and he got a call from the Apollo saying, we had a cancellation. Can you come in? And he just said yes right away. He had no plan. He had no way to get there. He used the $40 he made from that gig to be able to drive to New York. And when he got there, he asked the producers, like, do you mind if I just sit in the theater? Because he had nowhere to go. He didn't have a hotel room. He didn't have anywhere to stay. So he just sat in the theater until it was time to do his show. He did his show, crushed it, and that's where his career picked up. So it was such an honor to stand next to Steve Harvey on the stage where his career started. But the crazy thing is, when you watch the show that I was on, they edit the order of things that happen, and the part they don't show you is that the guy before me got viciously booed off stage, and that's
that's terrible.
Yeah, at the Apollo, you either get a standing ovation or you get booed off stage, and the Sandman comes out to drag you off stage. It's awful. And I don't want to give names, but there are some very well-known magicians that we know that got dragged off stage to the sound of that boo. And I was terrified because, mentalism isn't, the Apollo's known for music, for dancing, for comedy, like punch, 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 punch. Mentalism is like, there's a build. So I was like, they're gonna boo the hell out of me. The guy before me got really badly booed. So I was standing backstage getting ready, listening to 2,000 people booing, and it was
oh my God,
frightening sounds in the
world. That must have been roaring, like deafening.
You're vibrating.
Oh man.
And I'm like, half of me was like, oh my God, I need to run the other way. And the other half of me was like, okay, they got it out of their system.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work that way.
No, it doesn't, because they I had a friend of mine who was there to perform on the same season, different audience. And he said, at the Apollo, there's always about 10% of people, maybe 5 to 10% of people who are there specifically to boo. They're there to let out steam. They just want to boo. That's the only reason, because they're hoping you mess up. But luckily, my set went really, really well. And huge standing ovation, which got me really emotional because what a dream, you know what I mean? Oh,
man, dude, that's like honestly, that is such a career like highlight. There's some great people, but not all great people have played at the Apollo.
No.
But everybody who has played at the Apollo successfully are great.
Yeah.
And I think they all carry that like memory with them though too, because I've heard so many like famous people talk about the time they were on stage at the Apollo. Like,
yeah, because they really play with your nerves because of that history and that sort of you know where you're standing, and even Steve Harvey, he says, be great or be gone. And the part a lot of audiences don't know is Steve Harvey primes the audience before any of us come on. He talks to the audience and he goes, if you're thinking you're a respectful person and you're here to enjoy a show, you're at the wrong theater. He goes, here, if you see something you don't like on stage, I want you to boo. You see something someone's wearing, you see something someone's doing. I asked him a question. You don't like the way they answer Steve. I want you to get up and boo as loud as you can. Don't be shy. Be Apollo. That's how we do it here. And I'm backstage like this.
I would have been peeking outside the curtain like.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's a great lesson, though, in the way I handled it. And I would encourage anybody who wants to pursue performing to go watch my video. It's on my YouTube channel of my Apollo audience, because I had a plan. I think it was a really good plan psychologically to get them on my side. They aired half of it, but my plan was twofold. First, at the Apollo, you're either white or you're other. And I look white, but my roots are yes, I wouldn't call it Middle Eastern, Armenian. And I knew that I need to quickly get to that. So I knew that my name, Spidey, is an easy target for Steve. Like he's a comedian, he finds easy targets. So I already knew that the moment he asked me why my name is Spidey, instead of turning that into a negative, like Steve's mocking me and now the audience is going to jump on board with that, my answer was, well, Steve, my roots are Armenian. Pause, because that got an applause. They didn't air it, but I said that and people cheered because they're like, okay, cool, he's not white. And, and then I said, my roots are Armenian and my real name is so complicated that even I can't pronounce it. That got a laugh.
Yeah, nice.
And then I said, so I had to come up with something relatable at a very young age. And Spidey was my nickname throughout high school. So I used that. And he goes, okay. And then the other thing I did, and this they did air. So I would encourage people to go watch this, because this was my plan. First of all, I was super respectful with Steve Harvey. A lot of people go on these shows and they talk to the host or they talk to the judges like they're best friends. Like, hey, Steve, what's up? I always, whether it's on Fool Us, and people have commented on this where I said Mr. Gillette, not Penn, because he's not my best friend. Same with Steve. It was Mr. Harvey. Like, it's out of respect. But anyways, this was my plan. So he asked me what I was going to do, and I said, there's a story to what I'm going to do. And the audience, all 2,000 of them, fell right into my plan or into my trap, because some of them started booing. Like when I said I have a story to tell, some of them started booing because we don't come to the Apollo to hear a story. And if you watch it, you see me smirking because that's what I wanted them to do, because they boo. And then Steve goes, hold on. I asked for the story because someone's want a bit of background. Now, the story was that while I was reading Steve Harvey's best-selling book, I saw a line that said, your imagination is everything, and that inspired this piece. So I said that, and the moment I said I was reading your book, he goes, see, didn't I tell you guys this was going to be a good story? Damn, that's a good story. They all started laughing. So my plan was get them to boo, then make them regret booing and get Steve on my side. So now if they boo me, they're booing my inspirational story that has to do with Steve, and nobody's going to be booing Steve. So
that's smart.
I played.
Okay. I'm going to interject here and say, okay, first of all, we're past 10 minutes, so I can say I can swear now.
We already swore in the beginning. You're fine.
I'm kind of scared doing this interview because I feel like by the end of it, I'm going to like PayPal you all my money or something, because I feel like you are the most manipulative motherfucker out there, and I'm going to like just send you all this stuff and do whatever you say. I don't trust you right now.
I think that's really funny, but I would never do that, Steve. But I think it's important, for people to know, especially those who are following you guys, who are interested in performing, whether it's close up or on stage. I think in our trade, it's very important to be aware of your audience and be aware of what to expect, because also another thing, you look at the Apollo, you look at what I'm wearing. I got a lot of comments for what I was wearing, because I was wearing dark jeans and a red button-up shirt. Usually, if you come to my show, I'm wearing where is it? This is my vest. Like, this is usually when I'm on stage, I'm wearing this vest with, I don't even know which way it goes. That's how crazy this thing is. It's got the chains, and it's custom made in California by one of my favorite designers. And I'm usually wearing like these badass things and bracelets and piercings and all this stuff. And that's my usual look on stage. But at the Apollo, that makes me an easy target. So I went for something simple. The selection of tricks. I did spoon bending, and then I did a chair that falls over, so it was a telekinesis effect. You would never see that in my show, because in my theater show, I do things that are more slow, deep, meaningful, mind reading. But this had to be commercial and quick. You
gotta be quick.
So whenever it comes to your audience, I think it's an important lesson to know how to plan according to the demographic, and be ready for what, if you're ready for what that audience is going to give you, you're ready to respond to it. So I was priming myself all week for the Apollo audience, which is very different than my typical college or theater, performing arts center crowds.
Now, I was watching one of your videos. I don't know which one it was. I think it was the one where you were talking about, different companies or even political people, how they use their words to kind of make you believe whatever they want you to believe. Absolutely. And I heard on that video that not only, obviously, you're a mentalist, you're a hypnotist, but you're a licensed hypnotist, first of all.
Yeah.
Second of all, you're a psychologist as well, right?
Yeah. So my degree's in social psychology, and I think a lot of what I do is influenced by that. Not that I use it directly, but I use it as a way to influence the mood or the vibe or even the presentation sometimes. But yeah, dude, it's crazy. Like I'm very fascinated by actual methods of using language and words to influence. And I do want to do, I'm really glad you enjoyed that one, because I want to do more content like that, which is like not necessarily for performance, but how to use your words to get every day, in negotiations and in relationships and any conversation, you can use words. And this is scientifically proven. And there's billions of techniques to use your words to get favorable outcomes. And what I did at the Apollo before I even started my set was a great demonstration of that, getting them on my side before I even start.
Yeah, it's so cool. And it's funny because Tyler and I are two totally different people, right? What he's good at, I'm terrible at. What I'm good at, he's terrible at. And Tyler went to law school. So, but he doesn't do it, which makes me appreciate and respect him way more. My cousin went to, he has his doctorate, and he went to like school for 20 years and doesn't even practice, which is amazing to me.
That's so
crazy. It is. But it's cool because Tyler uses what he learned and what he's good at, even doing this this show.
Yeah, you learn how to speak and how to form arguments and things like that. And again, even playing to the way that you expect people to react to things. I mean, I think one of the things that's always fascinated me, and I think it kind of falls a little bit under the idea of social psychology, is like micro expressions and a lot of the stuff that FBI profilers use to like read people. That stuff always blows my mind too. And I'm sure a lot of that plays into, what you do on a regular basis.
Yeah, absolutely. Or like, absolutely. Or like the way lawyers use psychology to corner people into certain beliefs. Like Tyler, you and I probably have both extensively studied the OJ case. And, if you look at certain things like, what's that, Alan, what's that
Dershowitz?
guy? Yeah. Dershowitz, is that it?
Yeah.
So when he came up with the Tyler, I don't know how much you studied this, or Steve, you seem to be familiar with it as well. But he came up with.
I know my criminal cases for sure.
This is for a very different reason. So when he came up with the defense of the something necktie, anyways, basically the way the neck was cut was very similar to a way that drug dealers operate. So
Colombian necktie, where
something necktie. What is it?
Yeah, I think it's the Colombian necktie. Colombian
necktie, exactly.
Yeah.
So his psychology was, if they don't have the answer to a question, they're going to pin it on OJ. So give them another answer, and that's pure psychology. You know what I mean? Because if it's up in the air, they're going to go, well, it must have been him. But if you go, no, Colombian drug dealers, this is exactly the method that they use. Yeah. And then they go, oh, well, then there it is. That's the answer. You know what I mean? Like, give them that scapegoat. And in psychology, or in negotiations, we often talk about that. Like, if you want an outcome, make it easy for them to get there by themselves. So
absolutely,
there's so much crossover. Even with Tyler, even for jury selection, man, like the amount of psychology jury selection is insane. And
it really is.
I'm surprised they don't bring more. I know they do sometimes, But I'm surprised they don't bring more consulting like guys like me, psychologists, into jury selection, because we could spot a lot of crazy things that you may not see on the surface, you know?
Have you ever seen the show Bull?
I've been told to watch it, and it's the one I haven't. I'm huge into like Criminal Minds. I love that.
You'd love Bull then, yeah.
Dude, if you,
it's the same
shows that you have to watch. So watch Bull. It's all about like.
Is the other one Lie to Me?
And Lie to Me.
Lie to Me is phenomenal.
Yeah, Lie to Me. Lie to Me is based on Paul Ekman's work, and I've read all his books. And micro expressions are tough. Like even for me, for a guy who loves this stuff, micro expressions are tough because you have a split second to spot them, and sometimes they're hiding behind a different emotion.
Right.
You know, like I'm smiling, but my jaw is clenched. Well, the clenching of the jaw is more important than the smile. So, Lie to Me is fascinating. I'm really big into Sherlock Holmes. So for me, Elementary and Sherlock with Benedict Cumberbatch is like a religion for me.
Both awesome shows as well. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so fascinating to me. Yeah, like jury selection and what goes into that. And while we're talking about this, if any of your viewers are interested, there's a lot of misconceptions about this stuff as well. Like we're talking about micro expressions, and a lot of people go, "Oh, can you spot when someone's lying?" Here's a little fun fact about lies that most people at the higher levels of interrogators would tell you. There isn't a single telltale sign that somebody's lying. Like there isn't something that every human does, because there are 6 or 7 emotions, and I'm sure they talk about this in Lie to Me because it's based on Paul Ekman's work. There are 6 or 7 emotions that are consistent for every human on this planet, and it's anger, joy, fear, disgust/contempt, sadness, and I can't remember what the 6th one is, but these are
surprise.
Dude, Steve.
I just looked it up. So
I nailed the 5 of them, and the 6th one is surprise.
So you got anger, fear, disgust, happiness, sadness, surprise, contempt.
Okay. So
happiness as well.
In the books, content and disgust are merged together because they're very similar, because content is disgust towards someone. So, anyways, these emotions are international, regardless of culture, regardless of upbringing. You will always display something. And the way they did this is they went to remote tribes where they have no access to mainstream media, and they said, they showed a picture of someone who's sad, and they said, in what scenario, what's happening to this person? And the people were able to identify they must have lost a loved one, or they identified, so they recognize sadness. And when they were asked things like, if you had to eat, then you got to find something that's disgusting to them, or and they exhibit the same expressions as we would. So these are international. Or sadness, they look the same way. Surprise, when they're surprised, you can't help but your eyes lighting up, because when we're caught off guard, our eyes open up because we're more alert. Like, what was that? Animals do it too. So these are international. When it comes to lying, there is not a single thing that every human being across the board does when they lie. The reason for that is we all feel different about lies. Some people, when they lie, feel very guilty. Some people are excited that they're getting away with a lie. So you have to establish a baseline with that person of what they look like when they're telling the truth, which is why people with the lie detector tests will always have the baseline questions, because you have to know what the person's like when they're lying. Now,
that's also why it's not admissible, though, is because people can control that regardless if they're lying.
100%. There are people who are, it takes a lot more work to hide surprise or anger or fear rather than a lie. It's a lot harder to hide those. But here's a great tip for anybody who's trying to catch someone in a lie. This is like a Spidey 101. I'm probably going to do this at some point, but this is a technique that I developed mixed with other people's techniques. So, for example, actually forget the example. I'll tell you what it is. The only way to catch a lie is to tell a lie yourself. So let me tell you what I mean by that. Let's say Tyler tells me that. I ask him this is a quick example. I asked Tyler if he saw my performance on Entertainment Tonight, just for the record, and just for an example. And Tyler goes, "Yeah, it was great." And I suspect he's lying.
Yeah.
I would come back by saying something like, "Did you like the part where the card changed colors?"
Yeah.
That's a lie. That never happened.
Yeah.
But by answering that, he's telling me whether he was telling the truth or not. So let's give a common example. Like, let's say your spouse tells you that they were at the movies last night, but you suspect they were futzing around. So they would say, hey, where were you last night? Oh, I went to the movies. Oh, cool. Which movie did you see? And they go, I saw Iron Man 3. And you go, or Iron Man 2, because I don't acknowledge Iron Man 3 as a real movie. So Iron Man 2. And you go, oh, I heard it was really sad at the end. And then you just say something that you completely made up, and you see their response. If they go with it, they're like, yeah, it was pretty sad. Well, then they didn't see the damn thing, But if they go, what the hell are you talking about? There was nothing happened at the end. So you go, okay, fine. Maybe you just did actually go to the movies, and I need to check out my paranoia.
All right, so everybody who's listening, the key, if anybody asks you like a couple questions, just say the opposite of what they're saying.
Exactly, something like that. If you're trying to get caught, the way to counter it is to just say the opposite of what they're asking.
Yeah. Did you see Spidey make that color change? What are you talking about? He didn't make no color change. Oh, you must be telling the truth. You did see it.
Spidey doesn't do color changes. He's a mentalist. They don't have any skill with cards.
Well, and it's also easier though to excuse, like, and using that same example, if you did do a color change and I refuted the fact that you did, you could be like, "No, I definitely didn't." I'd be like, "Ah, man, I must have stepped out of the room right there, real quick." And you're only invalidating that one part, whereas the rest of it could still be feasibly the truth, even though
100%. My reflex when somebody asks me something like that is to say the opposite, and then if they go, "No, I did," right after the gum, I go, "Oh yeah, no, that was great."
Yeah.
Like if they commit to it, then you could commit to it.
It's crazy how much that really plays into it, and so like, obviously you get into mentalism big time. This is obviously your professional gig here, but did you go to school for the whole social psychology side, knowing that's what you really wanted to use it for?
So my interest in magic came before my university studies. Obviously, I was younger, so magic was always there. I never knew how seriously I wanted to pursue magic or mentalism or hypnosis, but it was always part of my life. And I think it was some point during my studies where I said, "This is probably going to be what I'm going to do for a living." But it's always contingent on it being successful, because every person in this world needs two activities: one that they thoroughly enjoy and one that they could get paid for. And the privileged few have one activity that's both those things.
Yeah.
But I didn't know for a fact that for me, magic could be something that I could get paid for. So I had to keep doing my studies because I needed a fallback plan. I don't know what that fallback plan was career-wise, but a degree would have helped me towards something more safe.
Absolutely.
Right.
And now coronavirus hits, so I have a degree.
How's that working for you?
My only career switch was to go from stage to virtual shows. So
right. But that's the cool thing though about certain jobs, where a lot of people are losing their jobs, and when they're working, they might be looking down on a magician or a musician or something like that, when now that they don't have a job because they can't go into work and they can't do their actual job. Yeah. The ones that are working virtually are the magicians, the musicians, the performers.
And what's crazy is, like, in this desperate time of pandemic, everybody turned to the entertainers. People want to be entertained now. So, Jim Carrey gave a speech. I don't know if you guys saw it. It was at a college, and he talked.
Was it at Bryant College?
I think so. When he talked about his dad getting fired from
I think it was Bryant College.
I don't know if I saw that one. But
yeah, about how his dad chose a safe path in order to provide for his family. And after like 30, 40 years of being at that job, they let him go. And Jim Carrey said, you might fail at the thing you don't want, so might as well take a shot at the thing you do want.
Yeah.
And now it's like, all these people who got let go from their safe jobs because the economy crashed. How many of them earlier on wanted to pursue magic or music or acting or whatever it is, and they decided to take the safe route, and then that didn't work out because of this craziness. So, so for us, Yes, we're struggling. We're struggling. The shows aren't what they used to be, and we're hustling to figure out how these webcams work and how we're supposed to have you, pick a card if we're not in front of you. But we have something to work with.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that
it's
skill
so
set's
true.
definitely, it's definitely a translatable skill set no matter where you are. And really, if nothing else, it kind of challenges you. It keeps you guessing, or keeps you thinking creatively and figuring out new ways to fool people and amaze your audience. And
Sure.
in theory, I think anything you gain from the streaming aspect, while it may not directly translate back to the real world, it's definitely making you think on a next level where you're going to be able to learn some of the things you learn from virtual interaction
Sure,
and bring it to the stage.
Absolutely. I think, it's so interesting to talk about in our industry, online magic, because, there's definitely been a shift in the last 10 years to where there's been this emerging market and emerging, crushing market of like magicians online, whether it's on Facebook, you've got guys like Rick Lax and Justin Flom and all these other guys just destroying on Facebook.
Yeah.
And then you've got the YouTubers, like Ramsey and who else? Ramsey, Wes, so many guys on YouTube just crushing it. And then you have TikTok.
Yeah, exactly.
Cross-platform guys like Julius Dean, who's just crushing it on every social media platform.
Yeah.
And then you have all the old grumpies that are all like, oh, that's not legitimate magic. That's not legitimate magic. And it almost seems like every successful magician in history was called non-legitimate magic at their time because they were pioneers. There was a time where Penn and Teller were called not real magic because they were revealing magic and doing it in a kind of funky, crazy way and showing you a peek behind the curtain. And there was a time where David Blaine and Chris Angel were called not real magic because they were more badass and more in your face and in the street, and they didn't wear a top hat and didn't do full art magic, and they were like more in your face, and like gritty and they were criticized, and Shin was criticized so hard in the beginning of his career. And pioneers are criticized. Now we're at a point where so many people are criticizing online magic or social media magic, and I think we need to accept it's a thing. It's definitely a thing, and you may not get it, and it might not be the same thing as you because you're a live magician, but it's very much a part of our industry.
Absolutely.
And now so is virtual magic. There are, people will buy stuff from Sans Minds and they'll go, I can't use this in the real world. Well, you're not meant to use it in the real world. There are certain things that you're not meant, make yourself a great promo video and use the trick from Sans Minds because that's the platform it was made for. Yes, it's angle sensitive, but some of these tricks that are coming out, yes, they're angle sensitive. Yes, they have to be done a certain way, but man, oh man, are they beautiful.
Yeah, dude. Rose act.
And so you look at guys like Shin, who used to get criticized, like, oh, he can't do that stuff in the real world. Well, guess what? He found a way to do it in the real world.
Yeah.
Don't let your lack of creativity and vision stand in the way of other people's success. Shin was told his entire life that his stuff is not practical and it can't be done in the real world. But he figured out a way to do it, and he proved everyone wrong because not only did he do it in the real world, but he won literally everything.
Yeah.
Everything you can win.
You know what it comes down to is, and this happens in any community. I train jiu-jitsu, and this happened like literally in the jiu-jitsu community where, traditional Brazilian jiu-jitsu was created by the Gracies, right? And their jiu-jitsu is based on self-defense, and that's what original Brazilian jiu-jitsu is all about. And, that's what it's still all about. But what happens is you have all these pioneers that are coming into the art of jiu-jitsu that are more, they're sport jiu-jitsu practitioners, but they're creating stuff that are just like crazy beyond the original creators' minds. So it's like, but that's not practical. You wouldn't do that in a real fight. And then you see these people going into UFC and utilizing these things in a real fight, like literally hand-to-hand combat, creating these things that you wouldn't normally see in a real fight.
Whenever somebody is successful with something, there's always going to be somebody standing there and bashing on whatever that thing is until they're proven wrong. And I think, again, I keep coming back to Shin, but in our industry, he's just the best example. Shin used to stay up stressing night after night, and he'd write to me, this we're talking 10, 15 years ago, about how his new release is getting criticized because people are saying you can't do this live, and how he can't. But then he used it to build a social media following, because okay, fine, you can't do it live, do it on social media, grow it. Complaining about social media, use it. And then he went and he did it live, because he said, okay, why does close up magic actually have to be close up? Why can't I be on stage and use live projection?
Yeah.
And he just pioneered slightly and crushed it. So Shin, instead of pioneering live magic, he took social media magic and he made it play live, which is brilliant. And we hear a lot of like sour complaints in magic. It's all over the place. So there are two complaints that we hear very often in the magic industry. And I believe that these two complaints are not allowed to coexist. And the two complaints are as followed. It's, I don't have enough gigs, and social media sucks. You're allowed to complain about one of those two things, but not both. Let me explain what I mean. If you're out there crushing it with live gigs because you figured out a way to do that, you figured out a way to market yourself, you figured out a way to maybe get a couple of TV contracts or big, profile agents backing you up, and you are crushing it, then you're allowed to complain about social media, and you're allowed to not work on your social media. I can name you probably 100 different guys who are out there making a killing that don't need to work on social media content. Anybody from Copperfield who has a social media presence but isn't actively working on social media content, all the way down to guys like, Oz Perlman, my friend, who doesn't actively work on social media content, and everything in the middle. There's 1,000 kinds of people I can name who are crushing it, and they're allowed to say social media isn't for me. They're allowed to say that because they don't need it. Then you have the people who are crushing it on social media, who are destroying and constantly uploading, and the materials out there, and they're growing their fan base, and they're allowed to complain about the lack of bookings because maybe they haven't figured out that side of the business yet. But if you don't have gigs and you're saying social media is not for you, then let me tell you something, you're not cut out for this business, because work on one or the other. If your live gigs are working, you could say social media is not for me. If your social media is booming and you're really working hard there, you could say, I'm not getting enough live gigs. That's fine. But don't be that guy who's like, no, I don't have enough gigs and I don't want to do social media, and just expect the gigs to come in. That's not how it works. Look at guys like, again, Shin. It sounds like I'm like madly in love with Shin, which I kind of.
You know what? It's okay. You can be madly in love with Shin.
Okay, we're all in love with Shin. He's amazing.
So look at Shin. Look at guys like, another one I can name who, people might have different thoughts about him, and I don't really care. But a great example is Stephen Brundage. Both these guys are slaughtering with live shows. Their demand is high, but they're also very, very much working hard on social media content, always staying on top of the trends, always post. I get exhausted watching Shin. The guy tours and fills out rooms bigger than anyone we know, and still every day is posting on Instagram, TikTok.
Dude, you know what's going to be really annoying? You ready for this one? When his wife starts selling out all these shows because she's starting to kill it. Like, that's going to piss off a lot of people.
Doing the content too now, and Casey's doing. Like she just picked up magic during quarantine, and she's doing better content than most people have done magic for 40 years. Like how are these people not learning? Like I see so many videos on social media like, hey guys, now I'm going to show you my favorite trick with 4 races. And like, what are you doing? Like what is
Can you do that? Can you do that again so we can use that clip?
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We had Dan Sperry on last week. And oh my God, he is a riot as well. And he's all like just talking like, we were talking about a snap change, and he's like, who the fuck would ever want to do a snap change?
He's like, oh no, look, your one finger's missing now. Magic. And I was like, oh my God. Of course I did a snap change for him. That was just embarrassing as shit, but
Yeah.
It's funny hearing like people who are in the industry who look at those things and are like, why the hell are you even doing that? Like try to learn new things, and it's interesting because a lot of courses that are being built to teach people these 4 ACE routines, teach people, like just these easy routines, whether it's a snap change or, hot mama or just whatever it is. And I think people are there's so much to learn from. There's so many videos. There's so many like rabbit holes you can go down and learn that way. And I think, obviously one of the people that I bring up a lot is Alex. His new course is ridiculous. How he created this kind of course progression to really teach people how to do more than just, for aces. Do you know what I'm saying? Where it teaches more about.
Let me tell you something, man. So I have a YouTube channel and I do a lot of tutorials, especially during quarantine. So I used to have very various material. I would do vlogs, I would do performances, stage TV, and then I would do kinds of hypnosis content. But during quarantine, I decided that I was going to do a lot of tutorials because a lot of people are sitting at home trying to learn a new skill, and I want to be a king of that. And I think it's a great time to learn magic. It's really, for me, magic, is very calming. It's a great meditation. So I'm really trying to do a lot of the tutorials, and they're going really, really well. But if I did a video about the important stuff, about your scripting and your the way you handle your audience, it would probably do about a 20th.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Because people like the flash and the flare. They don't care about the actual what actually goes into all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and Tyler, there's nothing wrong with that. If your guest said that the snap change is no good, I disagree. I think the snap change is great, and it depends on what you can do with that, because I would rather work on everything except for the trick than the trick. So if your trick is the snap change, that's fine. But how are you going to make this video count? Because, in your underwear in your room going like this and the card changing, that's not going to do anything for you. But having,
you obviously don't know Tyler.
But having someone attractive next to you, or being in a cool setting and going, hey, name a card, and then boom, the ace you have changes into that card. And then a nice reaction, nice lighting, nice setting, that'll do wonders for you. The trick barely even matters. Go on TikTok, look at the number of viral, we're talking tens of millions of views on a vanishing bottle or that pull out of the bag, which even when I didn't know a thing about magic, to me that trick was never convincing. I don't think
the straw that just keeps coming out.
The straw is one thing, but have you seen the wooden pole?
No, I haven't seen that. No.
No person in the world has ever watched that trick and said, "Oh my God, that's definitely a wooden pole." It's obviously a wobbly piece of plastic.
Yeah.
And once you realize that, there's no secret to the trick. So, but it's still getting tens of millions of views. And Rick Lax gets criticized for his content. And you know what? If you're at a level where you're posting as much as he is and you're hustling as much as he is, then you can be critical of his content if you want to. But Rick Lax is hustling more than you. That's it. I don't care who you are. Rick Lax is hustling more than you. So either match his game and then criticize, or just admire what he's doing, because Rick is one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life. If he's doing a certain type of content and these 50-year-old magicians are sitting there with their 3 ropes going, "Oh, well, that's not good magic." It's not meant to be good magic. It's meant to be good social media content.
It's entertaining is what it is.
Right. And if somebody failed here, it's not Rick. It's you for not understanding why Rick did that.
Right. Yeah. It's hard for the OG people to first understand this new world, right? Yeah. And it's like the separate cliques that are in any community. It's like you have your OGs, you have your mentalists, you have your cardists, you have your collectors, you have your magicians, and they're all like scowling at each other.
What the cardist?
Yeah, exactly. That's a cardist. She does isolations. He does the. Yeah, exactly.
And I think the funny thing about it too is for all these people who hate on, like you said, Rick Lex hustling there. For all the people who hate on him, they're looking at it the wrong way. If you disagree with something he's doing, take it as a learning experience for how you could potentially do it better.
That's what I'm saying, man. I think on social media, I always say this: people need to stop answering and start asking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there was this guy I saw on the magicians group on Facebook, which I actively avoid like the plague, but it came up on my feed. And somebody posted a video of somebody doing a routine on Penn and Teller Fool Us. And it was a very classic effect performed almost out of the box. So it was an arm chopper, and it was like pretty much performed the way it's meant to be performed. There hadn't been much brought to the presentation. There hadn't been much to that. But it was on Penn and Teller Fool Us. It was well presented. The guy was likable, and Penn and Teller seemed to enjoy it. Now, there was a bunch of these nothing magicians complaining like, oh, why would they do that on the show? Why would somebody do a canned routine like that on the show? And it's like, that was phase one. Then two magicians, Matt DeCero and Sean Farquhar, both of whom have been on Fool Us, and Sean Farquhar being the arguable champion of Fool Us, along with Shin Lim, went on that and said, you're misunderstanding. The point of the show is not to fool them. The point of the show is to put great magic on TV. The fooling element is this extra element that they use to sell to the network. And they're taking the time to explain this. This guy's like, no, you don't know anything. The show is called Fool Us. And it's like, shut the hell up. Sean Farquhar, who's been on the show, 3-4 times, fooled them 2, 3, I lost count, is telling you something. Sit down, clean your ears, and shut up.
It's so funny. People don't understand. I honestly didn't know the kind of the part that the show has in the production, right? We had Andre on, who has also been on Fool Us 3 times. And he said they're very much a part of what you do on the show.
Of course.
And it's for entertainment. It's not like Penn and Teller knows pretty much everything there is to know about magic, right?
I mean, they can
pretty much. I'm not saying they can't. I'm not saying they can't be fooled,
right?
But because people create new things. But what it comes down to is that's not the point of the show. The point is to entertain people and get people to continue watching and be interested in magic.
Absolutely. So when you submit to Fool Us, or when you get in touch with the producers, and for me, this is a very an experience I'm very familiar with because I was on the show myself, and I have tons of friends who were on the show. They don't ask you to submit your most fooling routine. They don't even mention deception a single time in your beginning conversations. They don't care. They say, send us your best routine, your most entertaining routine. And fooling is just that little hook that they found to make the show unique, to make it interesting, the way Penn talks about the methods in a secret code that only we seem to understand.
Yeah.
But at the basis, that's not the point. But to me, it's so frustrating when you have Sean Farquhar, who was there from season 1. Back when he was in England. And he's here, and he's taking the time out of his schedule to say, here's what the show's actually about. And this dimwit is coming back with, no, the show's about Fool Us. Obviously, you're supposed to fool them. It's like, have you been on the show? No, that's the reason. You don't get it. So,
and how many followers does that person have? Like 6?
Yeah, exactly. And how many times have they been on Fool Us?
Yeah.
And it's so frustrating. And I see this on YouTube all the time, man, all the freaking time, where I do a routine and I teach a routine, and then you have this nobody, this ding dong comes on the channel and comments like, you should do it this way, bro. And it's like, first of all, I've given this routine more thought than you've given anything in your life. I've performed it more times, this one routine, than you've done any single activity in your life. If I'm not doing your genius recommendation, there's a reason. So people need to stop answering and need to start asking. If somebody asks me, hey, is there a reason you did it that way rather than this way? I will take the time to answer that. But if you're coming up to me going, bro, you should do it this way because that's the way I do it. Oh, thank you, guy who's been doing magic for 2 minutes. Thank you for that recommendation.
It's so true. I have a friend that totally does that to another friend, and my friend is like super good at magic. He's not professional, but he's super good, and he has this like kid that just constantly, you should do it this way. This is how it's supposed to be done. It's just like
Guy Vernon in his book said to do it this way.
I have a question. You say ask, right? I want to ask for those. I mean, obviously, I'm pretty sure that everybody in the, I guess, audience, we call it,
it's
in the chat, in the chat knows what you do. But I want to ask you, can show us a little something?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. Let's you know what? I have this ace thing. I might come back to this later. But
I have this four ace on the show.
Let me show you guys something that's more along the lines of like what my reputation is all about. Let me just get that so you guys can see the table a little bit more. Let's try something. So here's I think this is a great segue from that conversation, because like we're saying, people on the social media are always giving unsolicited advice. You know, everyone on YouTube is a damn expert. And this is something that I've done this on a live stream, I think, or on a different show, and some of my subscribers saw it, and they were all fooled and floored by it. And they're all asking how. The secret to this is on my channel. So what you're about to see is going to probably, fool a lot of people. But the secret to it is on my channel. I'm not saying I explain this on my channel. I'm saying if you pay enough attention to the things I say, you could figure out how I did this on my channel. But so many people are busy giving their expert opinion and trying to correct things that they don't see it. They don't understand that, because they criticized something that flew over their head because they didn't understand what I was trying to say. So anyways, rant over. Here's the trick. We're going to try something with a deck of cards, and I'll use the two of you. Now, before we do this, Tyler, Steve, let's make it excessively clear to the viewers that nothing is set up. You have no idea what you're about to see. We didn't discuss anything. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, good. Because, I'm a mentalist, and it's kind of easy to discard all of this by saying he discussed this with them. They're in on it. They're not in on. You guys are not in on it.
We're not in on it now. I wouldn't let that happen. I'm super excited here.
I wouldn't let that happen either, because I like seeing Tyler shit himself.
I'm already excited. This shit hasn't even started yet. I'm like, yes.
So 2 jokers. I'm only going to use the one without the guarantee. Everyone's favorite joker. Nice. And we're going to narrow it down from a deck of cards. We're going to narrow it down to 1 card. So I'll give these a mix while we're talking here. So Tyler, we're not going to use any questionable words. Like, what you name is what we keep. We're not going to eliminate something that you said. So in a deck, there are red cards and black cards. Do you want red or black?
Black.
So black is what we're going to keep.
Okay.
Is that what you want?
Yep.
Steve, amongst the black cards, there are clubs and spades. Do you want clubs or spades?
Spades.
Spades. Got it. We're keeping the spades. Yeah.
Correct.
Tyler, do you want number cards or court cards?
Number cards.
Number cards. Is ace is a number card. So ace to 10. Steve, imagine in front of you right now, you've got the ace through 10, the actual cards, ace to spades, all the way to the 10 of spades. And your finger is moving back and forth between them. And then you're going to reach over and you're going to grab one. It's not one you would have initially thought you were going to go for. It's something different. Which one are you grabbing?
The 9.
The 9 of spades? Before we go on, do you want to change your mind? I don't want you to think that was some sort of wording or something like that. You're sticking with the 9?
I want to keep the 9.
Okay. I'm going to give you 3 seconds to change your mind, and you can do that if you want to. 3, 2, 1. Are you locking it in?
I'm locking it in.
Locking in the 9 of spades. Steve, does the 9 or the 9 of spades mean anything to you?
It's divisible of 108.
I don't even know what that means, but okay. So I said we're going to use the joker for this, right? Here's what we're going to do. You guys narrowed this down entirely. Tyler, I'm going to spread the deck like this across the table. I'll do it here so you could see a little bit better. I'll move my mic out of the way. Tyler, I'm going to move the joker along the cards like this. I want you to say the word stop whenever you like. So as I move it, you say stop when you like.
Stop.
Right there?
Yep.
I'm going to lower it exactly where you said stop. I'm going to open up the deck at that point. Is that where you said stop, or do you want to keep going in either direction?
No, that's good.
This is good?
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to put the joker right where you said stop. Now, I think we can all agree. I'll move this up so you can see it. Mr. Action. That wasn't Mr. Action. That was my mic. I mean, you could have placed the joker anywhere here. You could have put it anywhere here. You could have put it anywhere there, or there, or there, or there. But you placed it right here, correct?
Correct.
Well, you could have kept going as well. I mean, you put it right there, but you could have kept going as well. And it could have been, you put it over this one. I want to put it in frame so you could see it, but it could have been there or there or there or any one of these as well, correct?
Correct.
That is the card, and I didn't do any weird sleight of hand. That's the card directly above where you place the Joker, yes?
Yep.
Excellent. You guys narrowed down the cards, black, spade, numbers, 9. I took the Joker, I ran it down the deck. Tyler, you said stop. I'll even say this. You waited longer than most people would. So if I was using psychology or a timing thing, you went way past that.
What's the actual time? Usually 7 seconds or something like that?
No, it's like 3 beats. 1 Mississippi, Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, stop, usually.
Gotcha.
But Tyler, you went to about 7 or 8.
Yeah, I really tried to wait long there. It was difficult.
And you said stop above this card, directly above this card.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
That is awesome. That is awesome.
Now hold on. That's pretty cool. That's cute.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
That's cute.
But when you introduced me, you said one of the best mentalists in the world. This is a good mentalism trick. Maybe even a great mental magic trick. But you said the best. I have to live up to that expectation. See, you found the 9 of spades, and that's impressive. But what's even more impressive is that you named the 9 of spades, because you could have named anything. And had you named anything else, this would have been a complete flop. Because here's the thing. I couldn't have used this one. I couldn't have used that one, or this one, or I couldn't have used any one of those, or any one of these, or those, or this. And this isn't rough and smooth. There are 52 blank, entirely blank cards here. All of them are blank this way, that way. You named the only card in the entire deck that's actually a card. And that part is, I think, great.
That's awesome. Oh, man. That was amazing. That was genuinely amazing. And it was funny, too, because Steve and I watched something recently where they talked about, like, verbal cues triggering people to, pick when you kind of stop talking. People don't like that void naturally. It's the same reason with public speaking when people say a lot, because they think there's that pause there. And so when you stop talking, I'm like, I'm not going to say it right now. I'm going to wait. And I really tried to wait as much like it. That was awesome though.
Cool, man. Good.
Yeah,
You guys
did good stuff.
So going back to what we were saying, I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to give this away. But there's something I did on my channel, a tutorial that I did that did really well, and a lot of people really enjoyed it because I said in the video, you can use this a lot of creative different ways if you use your head. And so many people enjoyed it. And I would say 99% of the comments were great, but 1% of people go, and this isn't the trick, it's something different. 1% of people go, oh, well, that's stupid because you could do and you could do that, and I would do this and I would do that. And it's like, shut up, I know. You're like, I know. And it's even like, you look at like Chris Ramsey, one of my close friends, and he gets criticism on his videos on how to edit. And it's like, what are you doing? Like people try to establish their superiority or knowledge, and they think that by commenting or criticizing, they sound intelligent. To me, you sound pretty much as dumb as it gets when you're on the page of someone who does so much better than you and you're criticizing them. And even, you know what? It doesn't have to be the page of someone who's better than you, someone who's trying harder than you. And the thing is, like, for me, I could take it. Give me all the criticism. I'm just going to laugh at you and think you're an idiot. But if you're going on the page of like a kid who's starting up and trying really hard, and instead of giving encouraging comments like that, I thought that was great, you did a great job, you're like, oh, you should do this, you should do that, you should change that. Like, shut up. Let the kids figure it out.
Yeah. It's interesting because we've talked about it before, Tyler and I. It really drives people out of the community. People that don't have as thick skin, they're at a vulnerable time when you start putting magic or any type of cardistry or anything like that on social media. It's a very vulnerable moment, and if people start attacking you, it's detrimental for sure. It
really is.
And when I'm giving certain advice or I'm teaching something a certain way on my channel, I know because I've been there. I know where the obstacles are in the beginning. So sometimes, sometimes I'm leaving something out that would probably be better or more effective, but just to make it a little bit more friendly for my fan base. And these people are coming on, and instead of asking me like, hey, is there a reason you did it this way? Which I would kindly explain, critical and advice and all this shit. Like, we don't get the hell out of here. I ban people on my channel like you wouldn't believe. Most YouTubers are trying to grow their fan base. I'm trying to diminish it as much as possible. I don't want
Spidey used to have 1.6 million followers, but he decided to ban like 900,000.
We're working downwards. Like, I'm not interested in that kind of thing. So, I'm also very much against bullying on my channel, because in my live streams, I accommodate a lot of, young, aspiring, sometimes professional, all kinds of magicians to do their thing. And you have these assholes yelling out method and yelling out, do this, or you should do that. Get the hell out of here. We don't want that. We don't want that kind of thing. We're trying to grow. We're all trying to figure it out. Nobody asked you for your advice. If I want advice, I know where to get it. Trust me, I know where to get it. When I have, guys like Oz Perlman and Eric Diddleman and all these guys on speed dial, like, if my mentalism needs help, I know where to get it.
Dude, you just gotta start trolling them. Like, if they say, "Oh, you should do it this way," be like, "Oh, bro, send me a video of you doing it."
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't need your advice, gamer 1268489. I'm good, thanks.
Survivor 17652.
I mean, you could create a hell of a YouTube segment though, where you just get, like Steve said, have everyone send you in the videos, and then at the end of the week, like, recap them and just like troll shame these people. Be just like, this guy told me how to do my trick. Let me critique your trick now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but they don't have anything. I would if they had content.
Dude, they have a couple things. They could do 4 races.
I love it.
As they're flashing all over the place.
And you know what's crazy is Spidey, do your version of 4 racing. No, he's okay. So it's the magic bot. He follows me. So he knew what I was gonna do. I appreciate it. Maybe I'll do it in a sec. So even me with I don't want to sound like a cocky, arrogant ass, but like, even with the experience that I have under my belt, I don't feel comfortable giving people advice if they didn't ask for it. If I watch a YouTube video of somebody performing and there's a million things I could spot that I would do different, my number one and overwhelmingly powerful emotion is good for you for posting. Everything else is second. So unless I comment and they ask and say, hey, would you change anything? And then maybe I might say, I personally might do this, but like, I'm not you. I don't know why you chose to do it that way. There must be a reason, so.
Everybody does things differently. How many videos I watched on how to do a thumb fan?
Yeah.
Like, I've watched literally 10 different videos, 10 different people on how to do a thumb fan, because 9 of them I couldn't understand. Like, I couldn't do it the right way. And then I watched someone that does it the way it works for me, and I was able to do it.
Can you post that comment, the last one we got from Deckhead?
Yep.
That's a great idea.
What is it?
There you go. If it shows up.
It did, but then it went away.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
It's being a little laggish there. There we go.
Actually, Spidey, remember how I was talking about my friend who's a magician, and he hears shit? That's my friend right there, Deckin.
Oh, great. So
he's the one that gets like someone in his ear saying, "Oh, you should do it this way."
Yeah, well, that's a great idea, because when someone comments and says that, he just says, "Send me a video, show me what you're talking about," and then he's never that video, and that's a great response. That's a great response. Thanks for that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chris.
And you know what's it's crazy, because I guess the unsolicited advice is like the modern day version of, "Can you make my wife disappear?"
Oh my God.
We've evolved, and so our fucknut have evolved. You know what I mean? And that's the first time I've ever sworn on YouTube on record.
Well, second time. The first time you said shit, I was happy because it was you swore before me.
That's very rare that the guest swears before Steve. So you made his. No, you're fine.
I'm
made his
literally
show.
like this for the first 10 minutes. I'm like, is it 10 minutes?
We're not going to be able to monetize this video by the time I'm done. But
that's perfectly fine.
We don't care. I'd rather have an F-bomb than monetize it anyway.
So just enough. And then let me do another trick, and then we're going to talk about my next topic, which is revealing magic on YouTube and another rant.
Which is great, because honestly, like, we had some questions around that, and that was going to be my next kind of like trigger for a conversation for you.
No, that's a perfect conversation. Before we get into that, let's do a little stew action here.
Oh yeah,
So
we have yeah. Do your
we have a
thing.
tradition on our show.
Okay.
You know, we have our friend Stu. I'm not sure. Do you know Stu? Courier Stu?
Of course. You guys know Stu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know Stu?
Dude, Stu and I go way back. Are you kidding?
Dude, let's hear it, man.
Let's yeah.
Stu and I met it was a couple of years, like 5 or 6 years ago. We're at a convention. I think it was somewhere in the States. I can't remember. They all just blend. And I was sitting in the back, and this guy's sitting next to me, and I was like just playing around with cards. I don't even remember who the lecture was. And I dropped my cards, and this guy was next to me, super kind, and he picked it up for me. And then we got to chatting. We had dinner. Dude, this guy's wild. That guy's awesome.
He is wild, that's for sure.
Can we kick someone out of this room? They're annoying me. he's probably someone that was talking trash to Spidey, and now he's.
There you go.
Thanks. Ha ha ha! The power of deleting people out of a room.
What does Stu want? Anything for Stu, man?
So we have this tradition that we have our guests open up a deck of cards and sniff it. Stu is a well-versed deck identifier by just smelling the decks.
Yeah. For real, he can identify where it was, like what factory printed it, things like that.
Want me to open a deck and sniff it?
Yes. And give us your thoughts. Somewhat similar to like a wine tasting. What are your sniff tasting? Yeah.
Let me pick a good one. I think I have a good 86 here.
86.
1986. Okay, let me get this. Let's see what we have. I'm going to use something from Pandrea.
Nice. I'm kind of bummed out that you didn't wear that outfit that you have on in that little stand-up thing.
Oh my God! If you had the same outfit on, I would have died.
Dude, that's insane. That's so epic.
I don't think that fits anymore.
You have Corona bod.
Yeah, that's something we're all suffering from at this point.
Yeah, I have Corona bod going on right now.
So I'm using this is the Halloween deck that Alex Pandrea released.
Nice.
And it says the only thing we have to fear is fear itself on one side, and then on the other side it says and spiders. And the
you know what you should do? You should take a Sharpie and put "and Spidey" instead of the S.
Yeah. And this was a limited run of 1,000 decks, and this is number 447 for the record.
Nice. Solid middle round. That's nice.
Right in the middle, right in the force zone. And do I smell it now or once I've opened the tuck case?
You can do both if you want, but it's when you open it.
Because you have to get that cellophane. I'll be honest, it smells like cardboard, but there's a hint of well traveled.
Yeah. Yeah. Does it smell like whiskey?
No, it smells like the person who made this has really seen a lot of things.
Nice.
Yeah, the person
I can see that
has experience under their belt. I am opening the sticker. It's very easy to tear. I'm not one of the people who remove stickers. I make a U-shaped tear.
That's how you should. Yeah.
I do too if I can.
Yeah.
Now people get real creative and have those annoying labels.
First whiff. Now I don't know if you guys know this, but when you open a deck, you have to do this a little because there's the dust that settles at the top, and that's not what you want your first impression to be. That has to.
Then you want to aerate a little.
Then you wiggle a little like this. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it an 86 or what?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
He even put the whole thing and didn't even.
I know that was a one shot there. Damn. I feel like you might need some water to help out with that.
Oaky.
Okay. Well, that was the origin of it.
Hints of fall. This was made in the fall.
Oh, really?
All right.
There's nothing to do with the Halloween pattern. I could taste it.
It didn't taste like pumpkin. It wasn't pumpkin spice.
Oh,
yeah. Now, smell-wise, so my grandparents in their basement there was this little closet where, like, the way they would do things is they wouldn't buy us presents and toys when it was time, like on our birthdays that week. What they would do is when they were running errands, they would go to the toy store and they would stockpile on things we like. And there was this closet where they would just keep it. And when an occasion came up, they would wrap up that gift and give it to us. And it had a very distinct smell. It was a smell of like endless joy, but stagnant. And that is what this smells like. It's like endless fun possibilities trapped in this box. It's a good smell.
I like the color too. I like that version better than the black one.
I didn't even know there was a black one, but I'm a huge fan of this.
Dude, you're gonna have to get a black one, man.
Okay, I will.
Stu, I don't know if he's probably not here right now.
He might be working right now, yeah.
He'll definitely see it, yeah.
But yeah, he always checks for the sniff. So
cool.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that. So
Sam Jones said, "What up?
What up?"
So before we got distracted with the sniff, though, we were talking about another trick there.
Yeah, let's do the 4-ace trick.
I'm down. Let's check this out.
Can you make that express like
Here's my favorite
expression you did earlier?
Maintain that persona throughout the entire trick. It'll be amazing.
I will not be doing that. So this is
we should, you know what we should do? We should do a troll video, Spidey, where we have you on for like an hour, and then all your tricks can just be like, "Are you ready?" And you can go, like, you could just troll people. So when they watch the video, they're like, "Oh, you flashed. Oh, you did this way."
Supposed to do it with the finger position in the knee. So this is what I've been opening my virtual show with. And I know it's crazy because I'm a mentalist and this is the furthest thing away from mentalism, but I'm not one of those mentalists who's like purist to where it's like, I can actually read your thoughts. And I talk about the reality of mentalism and how the roots are in magic. So that allows me to do magic. And it makes the mentalism a little bit more down to earth as opposed to this unrelatable mutant who can
read minds.
Like freaking Professor X over here. So,
oh my God.
So this is my version of Brett Braun's Definitely Not Marked. Is that a trick you guys are familiar with?
No.
Okay, well, it's a great.
I know who Brent Braun is. He's the Insignia deck guy. Super cool magician. I don't know that specific.
Trick. Super nice guy. And this is it's a trick I saw of his. And I liked the idea. I liked the visuals, and I think there's a lot of impossibility. And he says this too: the progressiveness of the impossibility was a beautiful thing for him because it starts off and you go, okay, and you go, and at the end you're like, oh, what the hell? So I just modified it to work for me because sometimes you see a presentation doesn't work for you, so I changed it. But the handling is very similar. So this is how I start my live streams. Can you see these okay? By the way, is there a way, Tyler, to make me bigger, or there's no way to do that?
Yeah.
Let me, 1 second. Hold on. And there we go.
Well, that's great. That's great. And I could still hear you guys, so that's perfect.
Yep.
So, Tyler, I don't need to see you, but I'd like to see you.
Okay.
Tyler, don't be seen, just heard, buddy. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
I mean, for the rest of the stream, not just the trick.
brings me back to my childhood here.
he's like, can you guys just keep me on the screen instead?
So this is like I start the show and I say, all right, guys, we're going to start showing in just 1 second, but I have to do a quick visual test to see if everything looks good for you guys because, sometimes the internet is unstable. I just got to make sure everything looks good. I don't know if you guys know this, but playing cards have settings just like a camera. So if everything looks good here, then everything should be ready for the show. So there are 4 aces here. And I'll ask you, Tyler, do you see that? That's the ace of diamonds. Do you see that?
I do.
It's loud and clear. Is it there in its entirety?
Yes, it is.
Okay. And if that's the ace of diamonds, do you see this? Is that the ace of spades? Oh, it's upside down. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'll do it this way because I want it to be right side up. This is where we're fixing the settings. That's the ace of spades.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And is it also there in its entirety? It's entirely there?
It is.
And what color is the back?
Red.
That's great. That's supposed to be red. Okay, good. See, here's the thing. One of these is a little bit off in color. I don't know if you're going to see it. I'll show it to you. Just one of these. That's the one right there. I don't know if you see it, but it's a little bit pinker. Do you see that?
I do.
this one. It's a little bit brighter. But like I said, cards have settings, just like a camera, and I can definitely fix that. And I could fix it like this, just with a little bit of a shake. I should be able to fix that to look like the others. Here, how does that look to you? Does that look good? How's that?
Spidey, you're asking the wrong person because Tyler's colorblind.
No, I just lost power for a second.
Oh.
Steve, how does that look?
It looks a little off, buddy.
Really? What is it?
It's blue.
It's blue?
Well, it looks blue, yeah.
How is it blue? Okay, it's okay. I can fix that. Watch. I'll just give it a bit of a shake like this. Just change those settings, just a little bit of a shake. And if I got this right, I should be able to fix that. That should look a lot better. How does that look?
Perfect. It's green. Hey.
It's green?
Did Stu get a hold of that card?
Why? What happened?
You're missing a corner there.
You're missing a corner there, bro.
It's what?
It's
missing a corner.
Someone bid it.
Missing a corner. What camera setting even does that? Okay, hold on.
It depends. If you're using a Nikon, you might come up with that problem.
Hold on. Let me just make sure I understand. You're saying one of these is pink, one of these is blue, one of these is green, and it's missing a corner.
Yes.
Were there red ones at some point?
They were.
They were all red. What happened?
Yeah.
There's no red ones left. I know some people think this one's red, but that's not. That wasn't supposed to happen. Red, but it's not. I know that because it says so on the back. See, not red.
Nice.
Is this post editing? Yeah, there it is.
Dude, that was so good.
That was good. That was awesome.
Great. Yeah, so it's definitely a lot more new school, and yeah, it's like that progressive, like it starts off with, okay, one's a little pink, and then one's where that blue one come from, and then not only is the blue one gone, but there's this green one now missing a corner.
Yeah.
And then you're left with this moment where you're making this mess up, and is that an extra card? What the hell's going on? And you're here and you're all stuck, and they think you're fumbling and you're screwing it all up, and you go, where's the red ones? Well, that's not red because it says so on the back, and you show.
That's awesome.
So
Cool.
good.
So clean.
Let me show you guys another one right away while we're we'll chat a little more.
He's just doing this so he's all full screen. That's why.
I can switch you back up. Here we go.
No, I'll keep you guys to this one.
Let me see if I can hold on. Let me see if I can I don't want that one. Damn, I can't do it. Damn.
You're gonna be the main one, yeah.
Here, we'll switch it.
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Let's just go back. Three of us.
Yeah.
All right, you're
visual. We're gonna go back to the.
I feel like I'm in a rave or something.
So this one is. I don't mind telling you guys a little bit of the inside story on this. This next trick is something I'm proud of because it uses a principle. Now, there's something called, I don't want to give away too much, something called a Sven pad in magic. It's a really, really great device for mentalists, and almost any mentalist knows what it is. But about 3 years ago, I developed a new way to use it, and it completely shook the mentalism industry, and everybody went nuts about this new way I came up to use the pad. That's all I'm going to say about this, because either you know or you don't, and if you're one of the people who's in the know and you know what the prop is, you'll see this and go, oh, that's pretty cool. And if you don't, it doesn't really matter because, well, you'll still be extremely entertained by the routine. I think this is probably, in terms of impossibility, the strongest routine in my virtual show. So,
awesome. Tyler, do you know what the Sven pad is?
I do not.
Okay.
So here it is. Here's the routine. So Tyler, I'm going to do this one for you because Steve jumped in on the last one and did because you're colorblind. So he you're going to help us out with this.
Perfect.
So Tyler, for you, I've got over here inside this box a folded up index card. Do you see that?
I do.
Okay, that's for you. This is about you. It pertains to you, and it's a prediction that's going to go right there, and I will not touch that. And I'm also going to be doing a prediction that pertains to me. Okay. And this routine is all about things, objects that mean the world to us. And let me explain to you what I mean. At the beginning of this whole quarantine thing, I was starting to feel very down. I wasn't, going out doing my tours. I wasn't doing any TV shows, any live shows. It was really bumming me out. And a friend of mine who's a psychologist as well recommended I keep what's called a happy journal. And basically the idea is you take a journal and on each page you write down or draw something that makes you happy. Okay. And basically the way it works is as you flip through it, just that imagery lifts your spirits. It's a great idea. I did it. I have a booklet over here with 20 pages, and each page has one image of something that makes me happy. Like, for example, page 1 has this bird on it because I have 3 doves here. They're such joys to have. I'm a big fan of animals. So it's things like this. It's 20 images that really make me super happy. Now, before you choose one, because you're going to choose one in a second, Tyler, I'm going to predict ahead of time which one I think you're going to go for.
Okay.
This is the image I'm getting. And that's going to go right here on the table. You see that?
Yep.
Wonderful. Tyler, we're going to keep this as fair as possible. There are 20 pages. Actually, you know what? Before I do this, let's talk about you. Sorry, totally forgot that. So let's talk about you, Tyler. I have got a book with 20 different images here. If you had one image, something you could draw, an object, maybe it's something you own, maybe it's something that was given to you, or maybe it doesn't have to be something you own. It could be like the Eiffel Tower because you have a great memory there. What is one object that makes you happy?
And you can't say me.
I'd say books.
Books. Is there a specific book?
Yeah, there is.
Which one?
So it's called I'm gonna completely butcher here. It's called The Magician's Apprentice. By Raymond Feist, yeah.
The Magician's Apprentice. That's so magic books are the one thing that really make you feel happy.
Well, it's like a fantasy novel, but yeah.
Magic in the sense that, right.
Yeah.
The Magician's Apprentice. Wonderful. So that's yours. Now let's figure out mine. So like I said, 20 pages, name any number from 1 to 20. We'll just go straight to that page. What is it?
Okay. Number 7.
7. Now, I don't know if you know this. 7 is my favorite number. I've said it on my channel before. I have a tattoo of a 7 of spades on my wrist. I'm just giving you information in case you want to change your mind, because I don't want anyone to think that I influenced you or we talked about this or somehow I planted that in your mind. You can change your mind if you want to, or you can stick to 7.
So I did not know that, but I'm going to stick to 7 because now I want to know what's on page 7 because maybe it's your favorite image also.
Reverse psychology. I like it. So I'm going to show you this like this. This is a bird. That's number 1. I showed you that. Number 2 would have been a baseball. Reminds me of my childhood, hitting that baseball field. 3 is a house. No place like home. You could see that.
Yep.
4 is a teacup. I drink about 5 cups of tea a day. I love tea, so it makes me feel so good. So that's 4 is tea. 5 is ice cream. I don't think that needs any explaining. 6 is a camera. I think we can all relate to the joy of an image like this. But you didn't say 6. You said 7, correct?
Yes.
7, what is that?
It's a turtle.
It's a turtle. To be more specific, it's a tortoise.
Okay.
I have this weird obsession with tortoises. I love them. I even own one. He's like my best friend in the world. His name is Michelangelo. He's actually right there in his terrarium.
That's awesome.
But I love tortoises so much. I don't know why they make me so happy. But it could have been, this sushi, or it could have been a broomstick from Harry Potter 11, or a TV, or it could have been a train. There's all these different items. 16, my obsession with time. It could have been all these 17 microphone. You could have said any one of these. 18 is a cupcake. 19 is it's a kebab.
I love that. That's awesome.
But you said 7, right? And that's tortoise.
Tortoise. Yep.
I didn't touch this, did I?
No, you did not.
But beforehand, I wrote something on it. I said this one was for me, and that says,
damn. All right. That's awesome.
A little crazy, right? Tortoise.
No, that is.
But here's the crazy thing. This I didn't touch. And
That's
I said this pertains to you, and it's been sitting here in front of you the entire time. I'm going to do this. Sorry, it gets stuck in there sometimes. It's really a tight fit. You could see that. Yeah. And I want you to see this, nothing else in the hands, because I asked you what one object would mean something to you. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know why I wrote this or what it meant, but I think it'll mean something.
That's that's awesome, man. And for posterity's sake, it's in a different ink color than the pen you had when you wrote Tortoise. That's awesome, though. Dude, that is sick.
Thank you.
So cool.
I love mentalism, though, for real. Like, I think the way it kind of, like you said, plays to the psychology and plays to the reaction and understanding the way. I mean, I think all magic to some extent plays on the way people react and the way they think and things like that. But mentalism takes it to this whole next level, which I think is so cool.
Yeah, and it makes it personal. It makes it personal, because like that Magician's Apprentice, seeing that means more to you than seeing Seven of Clubs or
Absolutely, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about my theories on revealing magic or mentalism online, because I have a lot to say about this, and I think it's important, especially because you guys are on YouTube and all these other YouTubers are here, and I have a lot of strong opinions on this. So revealing magic on YouTube. First of all, there's something we have to realize that I think is insane, that magicians feel this entitled. Just because we deal in secrets doesn't mean that we're the only industry that has secrets. And that's very, very important, because I was talking to a friend of mine who, Steve, like you, is into martial arts. And he said that a friend of his was doing videos on social media where he was teaching martial arts technique, and he was getting a lot of grief from the community saying, how can you teach this for free? Light in my head. And I said, oh my God, we're not the only ones who have secrets. Chefs have secrets, artists have secrets, gardeners have secrets. Almost every industry has secrets. And it's not just magic that's evolving to where we're educating people for free online. It's almost every industry. Don't you think there are cooks out there that are pissed that you can now go on social media and find free recipes, and that means that they're selling their books to us? They have even more entitlement to be pissed at us, because they sell their recipes, whereas we don't sell secrets. We sell our shows. So first of all, we need to realize as magicians that we're not the only industry who's been disturbed or changed with this new wave of free instruction online. So stop being arrogant enough to think you're the only one affected by this. Second of all, times are changing. The way we educate are changing. People say, 50 years ago, people had respect for a secret. No, they didn't. You could go to the library. When I was little, I went to the library and I checked out books for free that had magic in it. It's how I started. It's one of the ways I learned magic when I was younger. And anybody could have done that. Just because it's more convenient doesn't mean it's more accessible. Things are changing. So teaching online is a thing now. People can go online and learn things for free. I pick up recipes online all the time. When something's broken in my house, I go online and I learn how to fix it. Don't you think there's a handyman in my community who's pissed off that I'm not calling him because I learned on YouTube how to fix it myself? So everything is changing because of online instruction. So first of all, realize that that's a thing now. It's part of today's society. We learn things for free online. Second of all, there's a difference between somebody teaching a trick they learned last week for free just to get views, and a professional in a certain department teaching the way something's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
I see a lot of channels of these kids, cameras on their table. It's about, the quality is like,
Blair Witch Project? Like the Blair Witch Project?
Yeah, exactly. And it's their hands and they're going, here's a trick that I learned, and then they do the trick, and then you take the 2 cards and they can't even do a double lift, and you do that, and that's the tutorial. Yes, that should be destroyed. And besides, they're not getting the views. No one's watching that.
Yeah.
But if you look at guys like Xavier Spade, you look at guys like Alex Pandrea, you look at guys like Chris Ramsey, Shin Lim. I would like to put myself in that category, but I'm not arrogant enough to do so. People who are masters of their domain, teaching something the way it's meant to be taught. I learned how to pinky count from Xavier Spade's YouTube channel. I could never do it my whole life. I was on a hard time. I gave one little tip on his YouTube video, and now I could do it. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So when these experts are teaching stuff, and also like we're not idiots. There's a certain way we do it. Like if you look at my tutorials, it's never like, so again, these geniuses who criticize me and give me their very valuable feedback, they'll be like, why is your video 15 minutes? You could have explained that in 2 minutes. I know. It's 15 minutes to weed out the people who are just looking for a quick secret.
Yeah.
So yes, and if you bothered to ask, I would explain this to your ignorant self. I take the time in the beginning to explain the history a little bit, talk about the trick, do the performance. And I'm doing that on purpose because anybody who just wants a quick answer to how it was done, they're already gone. This is a serious person who wants to learn in detail the details as to why this is one of my favorite pieces. I also exclusively teach stuff on my channel that I either entirely created or heavily contributed to or changed to where it's different enough from the starting point for me. So anyone who criticizes and goes, you shouldn't teach it, why not? It's mine. You know what I mean? Like, if you don't want me teaching it, then invent better stuff than me and beat me to the punch, and then I won't be able to do it. So I think, oh, Gally's here. Hey, Gally, what's going on? So I think when it comes to this sourness of teaching magic online, I think that has to go out the window. And they're really like, there's this little community of magicians online, and they're all still convinced that it's wrong to teach, but it's like, wake up, stop. Like, there's more to life. I get messages every day from people saying they were depressed during lockdown. They didn't know what to do with themselves, but they discovered magic and mentalism through my channel, and now they're practicing it, doing it for their family and friends, and it's brought them joy. And to me, that joy is so much more important than your secret. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, dude,
absolutely.
It's so true. I mean, I joke around about this. I mean, Tyler and I joke around about this all the time, but I would not be here if it wasn't for a Chris Ramsey tutorial. So I joke around with everybody. Basically, I'm like, one of our questions we ask people is, when did you get involved with like magic, or when did you? And I always joke, and like, so did you learn from Chris as well? Because I feel like everybody learns from Chris's tutorial videos. That's how they got it.
There's nothing wrong with that. And
but that's the thing. I wouldn't be here doing what Tyler and I are doing if it wasn't for that tutorial video. So it brings people into the community. And
somebody here said, Magic Buzz said, teaching is one thing, reveals are cheap crap. I agree. Reveals are cheap. Like, I'm going to reveal how this other magician did something. I will never. And I get probably 50 requests a week of people saying, how does he do this? I'm not going to reveal someone else's magic.
Right.
Teach you what I want to teach you. And another thing I have no tolerance for on my channel is requesting specific tricks. Like, I tell my subscribers, if you see me do a trick on TV and all you have to say is reveal, please, reveal, tutorial, and not Spidey, that was great, Spidey, I enjoyed it, just tutorial, teach this, I'm going to ban you, because my channel is about sharing great mentalism. And sometimes I'm sharing my performances with you, and sometimes I'm sharing a piece that I love, and I'm teaching you how to do it because I wanted to bring the joy to you that it brought to me. There's a vulnerability there. I'm giving you one of my babies in magic. You know what I mean? And I want you to do well with it. So when people like don't appreciate that and they think I'm like some monkey who's going to teach everything I know, you got the wrong channel. I'm not that kid who's going to reveal everything just to get followers. I'm teaching important stuff that I think you could benefit from. And I think that's so important. I think anybody who's sour over that, like, oh, you're revealing secrets. Listen to me, buddy. You're selling tickets because we're revealing secrets.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
One of my tutorials is at 1.5 million views. It's a tutorial of a mind reading trick. 1.5 million people watch that video to learn how to do this mind reading trick. That creates interest. What Chris Ramsey does, that creates interest in our industry. And all these people who are complaining that what we're doing is wrong, they're selling tickets and they're selling shows because we're doing what's wrong.
Absolutely. Dude, you know how many puzzles have been sold in the past year? Like, let's be honest. It's kind of like when Macklemore came out with Thrift Shop, his song Thrift Shop. Yeah. Like, there was a pandemic across the US. Everybody was buying everything at thrift shops. They had absolutely nothing. It's literally when you have people who have a presence, who have viewers, who have influence, like real influences, that they literally add so much to whatever community they're involved in. Absolutely. You can talk as much shit as you want about Chris, and some of the stuff he does I don't agree with, but Chris, I think, is a genius. I think what he does is brilliant. Yes, I wish he would show more magic stuff because I think he's great at it. Yeah. I'm not into puzzles, but what he's doing, regardless, his images are dope. His videos are dope. Chances are he might not even be editing them because it's probably so far beyond that. So when somebody says, "Oh, you could have edited this way," he probably doesn't even edit them.
No, he doesn't. And he's very open about that.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you get so big. You don't have time to edit because you're doing your thing that makes you that big.
And let me tell you something. Nobody in the world is going to give Chris Ramsey's editor editing advice. Like, shut your stupid mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so funny. And honestly, I can't even imagine. Of course, Chris has say, but the person who edits his video knows what Chris likes and knows his style.
Dude, it's his brother-in-law.
Yeah, dude, I cannot picture anybody. I can't picture Chris sitting in front of a video in fucking Premiere being like, like literally like this at 3 a.m. trying to edit B-roll.
But he did. He used to.
Yeah, no, he used to, but now, what's the point?
No, that's how he got to where he is.
Yeah, but he has better things to do with his time.
Yeah, he's the creative force behind it now.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
And it's funny though too, because like you said, like you made a comment earlier about someone giving you critique and you saying that, you've put more thought into that performance than that person has put into anything. Same with Chris's editor. Same with any editor who's a professional editor. The amount of detail and thought that they're putting into something when they create it, there's a specific reason they did every single thing they did in that video. Sure. Like the fact that
that's what I look for. When I see something I disagree with, and I think this is huge. I think that like this is gonna be my main mission in life. To like get people to understand. I'm gonna talk about this in every interview I do. My main mission, my main thing when I see something that I disagree with, done by a successful person, obviously, is never, I know better, you should have done this, but rather, I wonder why you did that and why it's better than what I would have done. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
It's a learning experience for you, hands down, because you could ask that person and be like, why did you do it this way? It creates a discussion, and instead of becoming combative with it, you learn something, maybe even they learn something, and you both get better for it. Yeah.
If I see Ramsey on a video saying something, doing something, if I see Rick Lax on a video doing something, saying something, my reflex isn't, oh my God, you're wrong, you should have done this. It's, why did you do it that way? Because what I would have done would have been wrong. I wouldn't have done this. So, and I think so many more people need to adopt that way of thinking of when you see something you disagree with, make your reflex to wonder why and ask that question, as opposed to thinking you have the answer and that you're going to teach Sean Farquhar something about I'm pretty sure Sean Farquhar has been on Fool Us more than Penn and Teller have been on Fool Us.
I have a question. Who do you have a bigger crush on, Sean or Shin?
Listen, so it's an unfair question. Shin is one of my best friends. I've known him for 15 years. I've never even met Sean, but I have great respect for what he does. And to me, that was such a eye-opener, because here's Sean Farquhar taking the time to answer this question, and this guy's like, well, no, you clearly don't understand anything. No, buddy, you clearly don't understand.
Yeah, like you've made that clear for everyone now that you're just talking out of your ass at this point.
Like,
no. Yeah. That's too crazy.
You guys ready something dope?
Absolutely, man.
Let's wrap up with this, and then we'll take a couple more questions.
All right, perfect.
Let's do it. We got a couple questions for you, and then we'll see if anybody has them out.
And then we'll do some rapid fire questions.
All right,
let's do it. Let's get you guys. Anybody in the crowd, get some questions together. That way, we'll have them for when we're ready.
If not, I have a line of questions here, including a Kyle question.
Nice.
Cool. So this is, I'm going to let you guys in on something super top.
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Ask a couple questions. I have to go to the little men's room for a second. Normally I don't do this, but I'm going to literally pee myself if I don't. So ask a couple questions. That way I hear it, and then I'll come back to the.
Let it go, man. Nobody could see below your.
Okay. We've had that discussion before. We had a long show at one point, and there was discussion of how you would make that happen. But so we'll go through the Kyle question, because I think that's an easy one. It's a light one here. So it's more of a scenario than anything. You're now banned from the local library. What would be the reason for it?
Why was I banned from the local library?
Yes.
It's 100% because I was tearing pages out of books and leaving with them in my pockets.
That's actually a solid reason. And I think, honestly, there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them kicking me out for that. But if I had to guess why, that's why. Because there was something I just didn't want to, I didn't want to take the whole book home, and I didn't want to. I didn't
photocopy it.
Information like I really wanted it, and I didn't want to take a picture on my phone because it was out of battery. So I ripped out pages of a book and I put it in my pocket.
But you were considerate enough to not take the whole book because you wanted someone else to be able to still use the book. You just wanted the important.
Somebody else can have my scraps. I needed that. It's either that or because I picked my nose and I put it under the couch I was sitting on and somebody saw me.
There you go. Those are both valid reasons. I mean, I think I couldn't fault you for that. I could understand them kicking you out, but I couldn't fault you for it. So,
Right.
so I think there were obviously a lot of questions around, your mentalism, how you got into it, things like that. And I think we talked a lot about, I think you've talked a lot about that in the past.
Yeah.
This one kind of interested me.
The
What's
juicy.
So it's almost like an offbeat one. I think it's more about you in a non-magical capacity. What's your favorite piercing that you have?
Oh, great. That's such a great question. So I have three. I have one up here, right through the middle, and then I have one right here in the middle, and then I have my left lobe. All on the left, nothing on the right. No surprise either. So I really like the one here in the middle because I get to put little spot. I'm not wearing one now, but I have one right here in the middle, and the conch, is that what it's called? And it goes around. And I really like that one because I have a couple of cool twisty things I could put there. And I got those two at the same time because I wanted to like accessorize a little bit more. So yeah, the one in the middle here that goes right there. Yeah.
Dude, nice. And you mentioned you had the 7 of spades. Was it on your wrist?
Yeah, so I have 2 tattoos.
Okay.
Oh my God. Whew. Thank you. Sorry, guys.
So I have 2 tattoos. I'm not, I'm not one of those people who, there are people who like tattoo files, like they love tattoos, and then there's piercing files. I definitely like piercings a lot better than tattoos. For whatever reason, I like accessorizing with piercings more than tattoos.
Yeah.
Both my tattoos mean a lot to me. This is the 7 of spades on my wrist.
It's awesome.
I
like that it's the torn.
Is that the card that was bit off on the green?
Yeah, I like that it's the torn corner.
Yeah, no, I do an effect where they pick a card and I tear off the corner and I transfer it onto my wrist.
Nice.
But honestly, I haven't done it in a really long time, and it's just, there's very few things I know that I will love forever, and magic and cards will always be a part of my life. So it's there. It's also subtle. I can easily hide it with a bracelet. So that's one. The second tattoo I have is, no one's gonna understand what this is, but I'll show you and then I'll explain it. Is there?
All right.
Oh, nice.
That is my real. People think I go by Spidey because I'm embarrassed or I don't like my real name. It's far from the truth. I'm very proud of my real name. I love my real name. My real name is Bedros, and that is passed down through 5 generations of my family. But here's the interesting and crazy thing: it's on either side of my family. So my dad's name is Pierre, which translates to Bedros, because Peter is Pierre in French and Bedros in Armenian. So my dad is Pierre, and then my grandpa, but on my mom's side, is Bedros. And then my dad's grandpa is Bedros. And
That's
then
awesome.
my mom's great-grandpa is Bedros. So 5 generations of Bedros, and that's my first name. And
That's cool.
On my granddad's 92nd birthday, and he's still alive, he's 95 now, but when he was 92, so 3 years ago, I had him sign our name in Armenian on a piece of paper, and I went to a tattoo shop and I had them put it here. So
That's dope.
yeah,
That's really cool, man.
So,
No, I think it's nice to hear about the meaning behind the tattoos. So obviously you've put a lot of thought into the tattoo that you have, but I can definitely see where the piercings are more of an accessory, which is cool.
yeah.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Tyler looks forward to me doing this every single episode, so it's my time to do it. I have a question. I have a question. What's the inside scoop on the 52? Like, do you have to be invited into a cool club to get like a tattoo in like your finger, or what's the whole deal with the 52?
Can you not talk about the 52? Is that rule number one?
I like, here's the thing. Like, I have many friends who are part of the 52, and I don't even think they know what it is.
Okay,
who is the person that says, "Oh, you are now in the 52"?
That is Daniel Madison.
That's what I figured. Okay, cool.
Okay,
good to know. So he's the godfather of the 52.
He's the godfather of the 52.
Cool. And so he's the one that says you can put a 50. You can put a number on you. You can put a number on you.
No, you could put a card. Each card is only claimed once.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can put, like, obviously a card on you.
Yeah.
But it ultimately goes through him. He has to say yes or no.
He has to say yes. You could go get a card tattooed on your finger, but you won't be part of the 52 unless Daniel Madison said, "Go get that." You could go get that card tattooed on your finger.
Gotcha.
And I don't even know how many are left unclaimed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, it's good.
You should figure it out.
We've been wondering that for a while.
We will when we have Daniel on the show, whenever that may be. maybe he'll give us a number that we can split. I'll be 2.5.
You get the value, he gets the suit.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that would work out. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
Are you guys ready to see? Are you guys ready to see?
We are ready. Yes,
baby.
Let's do it.
I am pumped for this.
So let me give you guys a bit of history on this. This is
Do we want to enlarge you for this one?
when we get to it, we will.
Okay.
Cool.
So this is something I worked on last year, and I had this thought. I wanted to create something, and I thought it was impossible, but I really thought about it, and then I did it. And anyone who saw it was desperately fooled by it. And I think it's possible to get a part of it, but nobody will ever get the whole thing. And it's my next release. Murphy's printed we did the instructional and all this stuff, and they made the thing you need, which I can't say what it is because it gives the thing away. And then they're ready to go. I just have to fly out and film it. So you guys are the second mass audience who's going to see this. I did it on one of my live streams a little bit ago,
Nice.
but you guys are the second big audience who's going to see this in the next big Mentalism release, and I think it's really going to change.
Do you know when it's going to be released?
I don't know. We still have to figure out, because I'm in Canada, so we got to figure out when I could fly to the States and film the trailer and the instructional.
Gotcha.
Nice.
So
Alright.
Fly me out to Canada. I'll do it.
Sweet. So it's something that's done with, instead of playing cards, this is a kind of a technique or something I came up with using flashcards. So these are, I think, from Walmart. They're just, you guys know flashcards. They're like,
Yeah.
we all learn to read with this. It's like you've got an object and then a letter,
Yeah.
and it says, what the and I'll show you like this. So you have like girl, and why the hell is this in the kids?
That's awesome.
Why did they snake? Okay, that one's good. Egg and was that horse?
Yeah.
And nut. And you can see they're all different, and there's no they don't spell out anything. I didn't put them in ABC order or anything like that. Regardless, I'll give these a bit of a mix, and here's what we'll do. So Steve, first of all, two things. I don't have a monitor. My only monitor is right there, which is why you guys have been seeing me while you were talking. I was looking down there. That's my only monitor. Besides, if I look this way, I have no monitor. I can't see a thing at all. You got to trust me on that.
Okay.
Second,
you have a camera contact in your eye. I know it.
Second, if you were here, I would allow you to thoroughly look at the backs of these, but I'll do it here so you guys could see. There's, even if I wanted to mark these, there's absolutely nowhere that I could do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So here's what we'll do, Steve. I will, first of all, I would offer you a mix or a cut. So let's say you cut, and I'm going to cut for you. So here's what I'll do. I'll let some cards go. You say stop when you like.
Stop.
Right there?
Yep.
That wasn't forced or anything, right?
I don't think so.
Do it again?
No, that's good. I trust you.
Okay. So I'll cut right there, right?
Yep.
Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to go through the cards one at a time in my hands. At some point, you're going to say stop. And when you say stop, you know what I'll do? I'll do it this way. I'll look away. I promise you I can't see. I'll show them to you. When you see a symbol that you like, for whatever reason, you like the colors, you like what's on it, doesn't matter. You say the word stop, and I want you to keep that in your mind, okay? So as I go through these, you're going to say stop.
I say stop whenever I want you to stop.
When you see one that you like.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
Here we go.
Stop.
Wait, this one or the one before?
The one before it.
This one?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to put that. I swear I'm not looking at the monitor. I'm going to put that right there, okay? Right on the table.
Okay.
The next three, I would give them to you and say to put them in your pocket.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Sure.
And the rest all goes away. I'm not going to look at them. I'm not going to touch them. I would put them in the box. I'll get rid of them. I just don't want you to think I'm doing something suspicious off camera, so I'm putting them away without even looking at where they're going like that. Okay, so Focus on, oh, here, they're out of frame. I'm sorry. That's the one you chose, and these are the next three that would go in your pocket. Focus on the one you chose. Now, I'm not super familiar with this deck. I haven't memorized all the drawings on it, so I'm kind of getting more ideas. And the first thing I'm getting, I think, is this big?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, really big. It's not like it wouldn't be able to fit in my home.
No. It
And
wouldn't.
the first thing I'm getting, it's funny, Steve, because usually I get like a visual image or I hear something, but the first thing I'm getting is more of a physical feeling. Like I'm very warm.
Yeah.
It's very hot, and it's because I'm somewhere, and I think it's sort of like something that's creating heat that's really big. Maybe like the sun, or maybe not, because it seems big, but not that big, like not bigger than the Earth. Maybe like oh, okay. Is this like a volcano?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Okay, whoa, sick volcano. Holy shit. Okay. Now that's, you might think I'm a psychic, right? And that's how I do that. Now the next three where you said stop, I don't know what they were. The deck was mixed. You cut it. I'm going to try to see if I can connect with the next three. So the first one, I'm hearing something, or one of the three, I'm hearing something, and it's very like, it sounds like bells, and I think it's an instrument. I'm not sure which one, but I'm getting an instrument that sounds like bells, like a very like ding, 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 ding kind of thing. After that, I have something very, I'm getting value from one of these. Like one of these cards is really signaling value, like it's expensive. I think it's a piece of jewelry. I'm not sure which one, but I think like really expensive jewelry. So we have an instrument, we have something that's very expensive. And then the third one is very different than those two because I don't even think it's an object. I think it's like alive. I think it's like a person, but no, I'm not getting like an adult. I'm getting more like I think it's like a little boy, maybe a little girl. I think it's a little boy. So I think it's something like that. Some sort of instrument, something very valuable, and then like a child or a boy or something like that. Let's see what they are. We have
xylophone.
That must be the expensive piece of jewelry. I'm kidding.
Nice.
That's a rock. Nice. Sweet.
So there it is.
Nice. Good work, dude.
Dude, that was sick.
Yeah, this allows you to do a lot of really cool stuff. And yeah, another thing is there's some routines that they're going to get with this that I came up with that are very, very unique.
That's awesome.
We've got some, I'm just trying to see the comments. Gally, I don't know if she's still around, but Gally. Oh, she is. So yeah, Gally's seen this up close, and
that's awesome.
I think she'll agree that they're pretty damn fooling. Love the picture of the skull. It's so weird. Why is it here? There's snake. There's
You know what the funny Tyler must have lost power again.
Wait, I'm coming back.
Tyler, man, what's up with that?
Dude, there's the hurricane down south is kicking thunderstorms up here. Yeah, so
Gotcha.
yeah.
Let me try this, Tyler. I'm gonna try this, okay?
All right.
I'm gonna go through these. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. I'm gonna go through these one at a time like this. So I'm gonna go through them. Say stop when you see one you like. I'm gonna try something crazy. It may not work, but this is one of the newer routines I'm working on. So as I go through them like this, I'm just gonna put them like this. I'm not looking. My eyes are closed. I'm looking away. Do you see them over here or no?
No, go down.
A little bit of clarity. Yeah,
because
go down.
It's blurry. There you go, just like that.
So
Perfect.
let me adjust to where I know you could see it. Then I'll cut so you don't know the starting point or anything like that. Is this okay?
Yep, perfect.
So as I go through, when you see one you like, say stop.
Stop.
Right there.
Back one.
So this one.
Yep.
Okay, I promise you I can't see. In fact, I'm going to take it like this, and I'm going to put it somewhere in the middle of the deck. My eyes are still 100% closed, and I'm going to cut the cards. Is that 1,000,000,000% fair?
Yep, fair.
You saw a card you liked. I threw it in the middle of the deck. I cut the cards. I promise you, you're going to have to take my word for it, that my eyes were closed that entire time. I'm going to try to figure this out right now. Can you put me on full screen?
Yep.
I'm going to go through these one at a time. I'll say what they are. And don't say a word. I'm going to just try to connect with your thought here. Now remember, guys, I put it right in the middle. I cut the deck, so I have no chance here. So don't say a word. That's a coin. That's umbrella. You could see him.
Yep.
So here we have coin, umbrella, octopus, yo-yo, planets, girl, skull, egg, horse, nut. Just think in your mind, don't say a word out loud, just in your mind, think if it's amongst these. Don't say a word out loud. I don't think it's amongst these, correct?
Correct.
You know what? I'm not even going to look at these cards. Think of what this is. I need a pen and paper. Give me a sec. I'm not doing any secret stuff.
That's fine.
I swear I didn't use that to like or something like that. This is just me jazzing. Okay, I'm gonna go with this. What was the image you were thinking of in your mind?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Dude, I thought you were going to do a snap change.
Oh my god.
You should have done a snap change right there. If I would have done that trick, I would have done a snap change.
Oh my god. That is too funny. That's awesome.
That's so good, dude.
Thanks, guys. So yeah, so here's what's gonna happen when this is done. I'm gonna tell you guys how it works because it's a brand new method.
Nice.
That doesn't exist. And on the next stream, I won't be here, but you could tell all your followers, like, guys, that is legit.
Oh, we'll definitely keep an eye out. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
And like I said, it's going to be available at Murphy's. So I normally don't carry magic on my site. I just started to maybe put some stuff up. But if anybody wants it when it comes out, just hit me up and we'll get it for them.
Yeah, totally.
Cool, dude. That's dope.
We could do a deck giveaway on your channel at some point, and somebody could win one.
Dope. Yeah, that would be really
sweet.
dope.
We can have you come on when it gets released and do a giveaway.
Send them a deck of flashcards and a secret is what it is. Some flashcards.
That's great.
All right, let's fire off. Let's fire off a couple of questions, and then we'll be on our way.
All right.
I just want to check my phone because I just want to make sure. I had a friend who was going to pop by. I'll tell him done in 10. Okay, go.
So one of the questions that I guess, you probably get a lot, but I saw pop up here a lot is, what would you recommend as a good kind of starting point for someone who wants to get into mentalism, whether it be books or tutorials or videos or even your own channel,
I think my channel is a good place to start. I do a lot of really beginner friendly stuff, and I do some card tricks too, but a lot of mentalism. There's a channel on my video. There's a video on my channel where I talk about my favorite mentalism books. Some are beginner friendly, some are not, but I would definitely go check out that video. In terms of video products, I'm going to do a video on this soon where I talk about my favorite video products, but you can never go wrong with Max Maven or, most of all for me, Richard Osterland. His earlier stuff from like 15 years ago, he had some great DVDs with great content, and that's pretty much where I started. So Richard Osterland DVDs, he had a series called Mind Mysteries. He had a series called Easy to Master Mental Miracles. All of Richard Osterland's stuff is really, really great.
Nice.
Awesome.
I have a question, Ty.
Before.
Deckhead said, what rough and smooth method do you like to use? Wax, roughing balm, etc.
So I'm a huge advocate of, I know it's a very different answer, but for mentalism, we technically use adhesives more than rough and smooth. Well, for me personally, and I have a product called Easy Tack that I talk about on the channel almost like it's a religion. And it's a really cool spray that sticks cards that makes them really stuck. Like you could throw it across the room and they'll stay stuck, but you can also separate them in complete silence. So
I think I've seen that video and actually he used that and really liked it.
Yeah, so there's a lot of uses for that. But when it comes to roughing, which is not stuck, because a lot of people saw the video and said you could use that for an invisible deck. You can't.
What's now for those of us that don't know what's roughing and what's
so
smoothing?
Stick two cards together, they're stuck. Roughing will not. It'll just create enormous friction between them to where if you're putting pressure down and they're in a deck, they'll stick together. But if they're both in your hand, they're not going to stick as well. So for roughing, I use the roughing stick. I really like the roughing stick a lot.
Nice.
So many cool tricks that, tricks within tricks.
Yeah.
So another question that came in on my end was, when you're testing out a new trick or you're kind of in the creative process, do you go out and perform that for strangers, or do you have like a select group of people who you kind of bounce things off of and see what their reaction is and get feedback from them?
So that answer changed, and it should change. In the beginning of my career, I would say for the first 5 to 8 years of my career, when I came up with something new, I would go out and test it for people, always people, because you don't have the experience yet to know, even amongst your friends, who's a good critic. So I would really go out and test it for people as much as I could. Then I transitioned to showing it to a few close friends or family members that I knew if it gets past them, it's good. Now I'm at a point where I don't even have to test it on anyone. If I come up with something, I immediately know if it's good enough to work on. I won't know all the jokes and where all the subtleties are yet, but I'll know if the basis of it is good enough to work.
Okay.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah, you develop that.
Yeah, no, I'm sure with practice and, learning through all of that, and even the failures, it's a learning experience where you kind of just build on it and figure out, what does work at a foundational level. So cool. And so where do you kind of get a lot of your inspiration? Is it just from things around you, or do you kind of have a go-to place or places or people that you kind of build your ideas off of?
So I get inspired from everyday life. Like whatever happens in my life inspires me. So I could be watching a movie and like a particularly emotional moment inspires me to create something around that. I could be playing with one of my animals and something would happen that makes me think, okay, that's interesting. I could be, it could be anything. I could be doing the dishes and I have a thought. Like everything that inspires me. So whenever something happens that makes me feel emotional, I think about how I could draw that emotion out and put it into my own work.
Nice. And so we actually had a question in the chat there from Dawn. Why do you prefer mentalism over card magic?
So that's a great question. I think I don't even think that I do. I think professionally I've been forced down that path because my releases were mentalism and my show is mental. The show I charge people for is mentalism. And so I have to brand myself as a mentalist, and I absolutely love mentalism. It allows you to connect with people in a really great way, and you're doing something personal to them. So I think it's more emotional. But as a hobby, I would say I love card magic just as much as mentalism. It's just I don't make money as a card magician because I don't market that talent. I market my mentalism show. So I would say they both have a very special place in my heart. But mentalism a little bit more because just a little bit more. And I think the reason is, although I'm very ethical about this and very clear about this, I like the fact that mentalism feels like an actual superpower. Although I'm very clear that it's not, and I tell my audiences it's not at all. I like the fact that it feels more real than card magic.
Yeah.
So off of that one too, what's your favorite superhero then?
Oh my God, you're talking to a superhero nerd. Is it my favorite in terms of who I enjoy or who I would want to be?
Let's go with who you would want to be. Well, yeah, we can do both. Yeah, let's do both. I like your Harry Potter wands behind you, by the way. You mentioned the nerd thing, but I saw the wands right behind you. I was like, oh, that's dope.
Yeah, I've got Voldemort.
Nice.
Nice.
Snape, my favorite character, Snape.
Nice.
That's awesome.
The Elder Wand.
Man, you got the full collection here. I love it.
Yeah, they're all here. And I also have Spider-Man.
Nice.
Dude, is that a Spider-Man, Mr. Potato Head?
Spider-Man.
That's awesome. That is so awesome.
Tater Parker.
Oh,
my nickname used to be Spider-Man.
What's that?
My nickname used to be Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
In the climbing community. Not the entire, the certain pocket of climbing community.
That's so cool. So my favorite superhero ever in terms of like personality and just sort of like vibe is Gambit from the X-Men because he's so
nice.
suave and badass.
Gambit's badass for sure. Yeah.
But if I could have the powers of one X-Men, it wouldn't be or one superpower. It wouldn't be him because I mean it's cool, but it's just he's cool. You know, the power isn't that cool.
Yeah.
I would be either Professor X or Wolverine because of longevity. Like I'm obsessed with time and sort of like I hate that time is finite. And Wolverine, his healing factor makes him like almost ageless. And Professor X could transfer his consciousness, so he's technically could be immortal. So them or you know like these other beings that are like eternal, like Apocalypse or something like that. Like something that has the capacity to be eternal.
So a big Marvel fan then.
Huge Marvel fan. I don't even know a damn thing about DC.
There's Batman. That's about it. Yeah.
The only thing about Marvel that's really lacking lately is their fight scenes. Their fight scenes are so boring.
What are you talking about?
Dude, their last like 10 movies have been like all in open area fight scenes, like at a airline hangar. It's just boring. It's so boring.
How about Iron Man versus Captain America in Civil War at the facility?
Oh, you mean like the underground fight that is in one room and nothing else there? It's all an empty room. They're boring.
Dude, the Civil War fight at the airport hangar gave me chills. I was in tears.
From a cinematography standpoint and like pulling it in, it was super bright. That's one thing that like DC has over Marvel is like the way their cinematography. They really bring you into this dark, deep emotion when you watch their films.
Wait, who does?
DC.
DC doesn't bring you into anything.
Their stories are not their stories. They're like the way the cinematography.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. The only thing DC did, and it wasn't even DC production that was great, was Christopher Nolan's Batman's. Besides that, I'm sorry, Batman versus Superman was a complete disaster.
Yes, it was. That was true.
I agree. The movies themselves, not the greatest, but the way they're shot. Definitely way better than Marvel comics.
Fine. Yes, the way they're shot. Isn't that unless I'm mistaken. Anyways, I don't want to misquote, but yeah, fine. Cinematography is good, but story-wise and sort of universe-wise, DC has been fumbling. They did a couple of good ones recently. I didn't hate the Harley Quinn movie. It felt a little Saturday morning cartoony, but I didn't hate it. Suicide Squad, I couldn't stand.
Yeah, that was bad also.
Yeah, I liked Justice League-ish. Aquaman cinematically was really good, but dude, to me, like you can't compare this stuff to Avengers and just the Avengers series. Like just ridiculous.
They just have to get better fight scenes. Like the Endgame, like that fight scene was terrible. Like in a big open space, it's just boring.
I have a couple of problems with the way Endgame was handled in terms of like Thanos just appearing, making a speech about arrogance, and then just sitting there for 20 minutes and waiting.
Yeah, dude, like I feel like superhero movies have definitely lacked recently, like big time. Stop breaking stuff, man.
Oh, look, you don't even know it's Spider-Man anymore. You put the glasses on.
I love it.
What's our Kyle question? Did you ask it already?
Yeah, I asked you. You missed it. It was the why'd you get banned from the library?
Oh, I heard it.
Yeah, you heard it. So another question that was in here, which I think is a good one, was how old is Michelangelo?
Michelangelo, I'm going to show him to you guys.
Yes, I'm actually excited about this. Let's see him.
Hey, buddy. He's so cute. When you wake him up, it takes him a minute for his eyes to open, so they're not open yet.
Nice.
Dude,
he's like a tiny tortoise too.
I mean, he's a lot bigger than he was when I got him, because I got him when he was like almost a hatchling. I got him like I'm trying to pull his frame. He was
How
like,
old is he?
So he's like 6 months, 7 months old.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, so he's really young.
Yeah, when I first got him, he was like this on my palm, like he barely covered my fingers. And now he's getting pretty heavy. He's a Herman's tortoise, so he'll never get that big. He's like 12 inches. Are his eyes open? Yeah.
Yeah, his eyes are open.
Yeah.
he's just chilling.
Yeah,
he's a cool cat. He's gorgeous. And so this is Michelangelo.
I love his patterning too, like his color and his patterning.
Like beautiful pattern. And he's hefty. Like he's not light. He's wondering what he's doing up here right now. But yeah, there he is. And he's like somewhere around 7-8 months.
Nice.
Year-old yet.
Dude, that is too cute.
I'll have to send you a picture of my girlfriend's tortoise.
What kind of tortoise?
Hey, Lovey.
Yes.
Hey, Lovey.
Yes.
Come here. Yeah, I think it's like 20 years old too. What kind of tortoise do you have?
He's a California desert tortoise.
He's a California desert tortoise.
California desert tortoise. Those are gorgeous.
Yeah, how old is it?
At least 20 years old.
It's at least 20.
Yeah, that thing will outlive you guys.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, this is like the second family, right?
How big is
We
he or
found
she?
him.
You found it?
I found it in the street in Davis, California,
He was walking.
and he was walking,
Wait,
and they
Steve,
picked.
where do you live now?
I live in Petaluma.
Where's that?
It's right near the bay.
Oh, so in California?
Yeah,
So do you guys keep him outside?
yeah, he's outside. When he's hibernating, he's in the garage.
Oh, you let him hibernate?
He just
Oh, yeah.
eats salads.
He just he hibernates in the garage. He used to hibernate under my girlfriend's mom's bed.
For how long?
When we're too
Like
lazy to
3 months?
What?
How long does he hibernate for?
Like 4,
4 months.
at least.
That's crazy. For 4 months,
Easiest pet ever.
just stay there. You know, you could put him like in a cold area to help him slow down his you could like make it cold, but I'm not gonna let mine hibernate because when you keep them, yours probably should because in nature he was doing that, but mine,
Oh yeah.
when you just get them and they're going to be domesticated, hibernation could cause a lot of problems because we can't control the environment quite as effectively. So I'm not going to let him hibernate. I'm going to purposely wake him up.
Yeah, in the winter he sleeps in the garage in a box, just nice small box, and that's what they do. And then when they wake up, you put them in the bathtub and let them feed for like 3 hours, like drink. That's all they do is drink water for like 3 hours.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I want to research that. California, what?
California desert tortoise.
I think that does it have like yellow patterns on the back?
Yellow patterns?
Mm,
No, they're actually illegal, to be honest with you.
they're illegal to own.
They're illegal to own unless you like got them a certain way. Like
You're not allowed to put them back in the wild, though.
yeah, my other friend Tyler actually had one, but their landscaper actually let it out.
Oh, gorgeous! He's
They're
got
like
he's one of the ones that
escape
has like. Does he have like the artichoke arms?
Artichoke arms?
Yeah, like his arms look like little artichokes.
What?
Yeah, they look like artichoke. Yeah, they're kind of like
What?
old looking arm. Yeah,
He looks like a dinosaur.
yeah, he looks like a dinosaur.
That's awesome.
So cute.
I'll send you a picture of him next time we go to. Actually,
Yeah,
we're
man,
going this weekend.
I'm obsessed. So here's the thing. He's in the same family as my guy. Like they're both desert tortoises, so they're very similar. But mine won't get as big. And yeah, but they're very similar, same family.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll send you a picture of him.
Do we have any more questions?
So we did have one more question, and it was, how often do you perform propless to produce a thing close to real mentalism, or real mind reading? Never.
Absolutely never. The only thing I do that's close to that is hypnosis, which is obviously propless. But I never ever do propless mentalism because I think that, and this is my theory, and I know people could disprove me, but I don't think it ever gets as good as mentalism with props. I'm not necessarily saying props that they see. You could do mentalism that's seemingly propless because your audience doesn't know that you have a prop. But I do not like those anagram guessing game type psychological like that. Not for me.
And so the last question I had, because I was curious about this one too, what was the worst gig you've ever done? You don't have to like shout anybody out if it's a well-known thing, but like worst gig.
Worst gig in terms of how bad I screwed it up or like the venue was shit?
Either. Bad
I
experience
want to
all
how
around.
bad you screwed up.
There was a show in Mexico where I messed up literally every trick I was supposed to do.
Oh, damn. That is brutal.
Really brutal. It was in the beginning of my career too, and it was, I don't want to name names, but it wasn't even my fault. I was working with someone else, and you both of you guys may very well know who he is. And yeah,
We'll save that for the after show.
no hard feelings at all. It's just a series of things happened. Actually, most of it was my fault, but just that ending, that finale was something I had warned against because I knew it could mess me up, but it went wrong anyways, even if I knew it could. Whatever. But yeah, it was a show in Mexico where pretty much everything went wrong.
That's brutal.
Actually, I think my first trick went well, and then everything else went wrong.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, so there was actually one other question. We kind of talked about this in the pre-show, and I think it was just good to touch on. Will you ever release a deck?
We're gonna put a question mark on that right now.
All right.
Watch away.
I think that's fair enough. I mean, listen, the deck market right now is pretty saturated as well. So like, it's worth waiting that one out, and I think it's something that, you know.
There's a definite answer to that. It is a yes or a no, but it's just I can't say what it is because to explain the answer would be to give away something that I don't want to give away.
All right, fair enough, man. Fair enough.
Definitely.
And I'll tell you guys if it makes sense.
Well, on that note, Spidey, honestly, we really appreciate you coming on tonight. We really had a blast talking to you. We had a blast with everyone in the audience. Guys, you had a great amount of questions. Definitely drop some of those in the comments below. We can kind of follow up after the fact. Also, a lot of the stuff we talked about tonight, so the videos Spidey mentioned, any of the people we talked about, I will drop links in the comments after this so you can easily find a lot of those videos or find some research on the people and some of the books and things like that. So anything you want to know about that we talked about, comments below. And thank you so much for coming out, guys.
Yeah, next week.
Yeah, so next week our guest is going to be James Malaris of Joker and Thief playing cards. They're actually
That's
releasing
my
a new.
favorite brand of playing cards.
Is it really?
Dude, I'm not kidding. Look, I'm going to show you my practice decks that I love are here. And look at this. If I'm just reaching down here. This one's from them.
Nice.
Dude, hell yeah, Seafarers! I love that deck.
And then this with there's two of those. And then there's I love the classic one there. That there's the blue, the red, the white, and the black. I forget what they're called, but I think it's like their standard deck.
Yeah, the Joker and the Thief line.
It's a Joker and the Thief deck. Yeah.
Yeah. Such a great
the quality, the feel, and then what's the other one I have? I have so many of them.
The Maidens, maybe? Yeah, Maidens or Dystopia.
Hold on, I'm going to show you. 1 sec. We're not going anywhere.
Oh, they have a new one coming out.
I have these.
Heck yeah.
Dude, that is so
One
funny.
red.
So the blue's my like every day. I play with that thing when I'm sitting at the computer for work. I love that deck.
Yeah, dude, hold on. I don't buy bricks of anything, but I want to show you this.
James is gonna get a kick out of this.
No doubt about that, man. That's awesome.
I don't buy bricks of anything, but look at this.
Dude.
That is awesome.
Dude, we're gonna have to get James to send you stuff.
He really makes they're such great decks.
They're beautiful, and what I like about it is that the front designs are different, but not so much so that your layman audience is gonna go, "What the hell is that?" You know, it's
right.
It's so look, I have they're coming literally out of everywhere. Like I love it.
Dude, that's awesome.
This isn't
that's so good.
This isn't like a weird prediction effect for your next guest.
Dude, you are a good mentalist. Holy shit.
Blew my mind here. Well, listen, next week, guys, if you want to see what these decks are all about and why Spidey loves them so much, definitely make sure to check out the show. James is going to be an amazing guest. We're going to have some little sneak peeks of his next deck coming up. And again, we really do appreciate you all coming out. So make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
And ring the bell.
And ring that bell, yeah. And before I get to sign off here, we got to say thanks to our sponsors for tonight, Latin Quarter Playing Cards. If you haven't checked them out, they are live on Kickstarter right now. Great poker set and gaming chips, beautifully done, really vintage, kind of have that old school underground casino vibe, Kentucky vibe there. Check those out. And our second sponsor is Marvelous Decks. You might have experienced capturing fireflies in a mason jar on a warm summer night as a kid. Seeing that glow up close was like holding the power of lightning in your own hands. Perhaps you remember your first encounter with the shimmer of fool's gold, thinking you had found an ancient lost treasure. Or when you heard the flutter of wings from a bird or butterfly and your eyes were paralyzed in awe with iridescent fascination. This is Marvelous Decks. Join us as we celebrate marvelous and amazing things that surround us. Sign up to get notified at marvelousdecks.com.
Yeah, September 5th.
Yes. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, Spidey, thank you so much for coming on, man. This was an absolute blast. Everyone, see you guys next week, and make sure to check out the videos that we have going up all week, deck specs, reviews, everything.
Peace. Thank you, everybody.